fans of all ages, Town Square Media is proud to present to you the best Quad City sports talk radio show in the world. With the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, Jaybird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City sports talk radio show. We're not the Quad City sports talk radio show. We are your Quad City sports talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the dawn.
It's a Thursday here in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by Done Right Satellite and Dish, and it's Jaybird and T-Roy on Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Statcat is here in spirit. I guarantee he's out there on the chat line, helping out like he always does.
Just had a conversation with Monica in the hallway.
Yeah.
By the way, Monica Austin, she will be opening up for when I judge at the Rust Belt. We'll get the dates for that. But we were talking about concerts, and there's a concert tonight at the Tax Slayer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, that's funny you say who.
Is it the Who?
No, it's Jason Aldean.
Who?
Yeah, I just found out he's not a trio.
Oh. That's good.
I just found out. Yeah.
I like it. Speaking of, I mean, we're not a trio right now either, being that the Statcat's gone. But we do have guests today in studio. Our boy Dan Vasca will be back.
He's on his way.
On his way. And Rosso.
It's like a nice send-off. I'm excited
I
to have
know,
him
reuniting
in.
the boys like one
and then
last
we're going to
time.
have like Rosso in here at the same time for the second hour.
Do you think Rosso cries? I think he cries. I think he's like, I'm going to miss you, Dan.
I know tomorrow you got your Valentine's Day, your Galentine's Day. You're hanging out with your gals.
My lady.
Both of them, right?
No. I actually don't have to do that thing that the field trip got canceled. So we get to drop a little booger off at school and have a day of it.
My baby gonna hold
Yeah, a little afternoon delight, Jay. Yeah.
Afternoon delight.
I'm gonna make her watch the episode with Leah first, and then just to refresh her memory on what afternoon delight is. But yeah, we're gonna have some dinner. I think we're gonna go to
so excited, sky
Rockets in Fight.
Boo! Afternoon delight. You're gonna do what? Go what?
Well, she wants to go to one of these new restaurants in town that we haven't been to yet.
Okay. Well, good. As long as it's locally owned.
Yes, sir. So, Full Nelson downtown, right?
Make your pitch. Call it. It's like selling it.
That's right. We haven't been there yet.
Is that where you're gonna go?
I think that's where the wifey wants to go. Full Nelson. And there's a couple others out there, and I can't remember what she said, but Full Nelson's stuck in my head.
Get some afternoon cocktails in you.
Ew. Then to go visit Surge at the just below the Beat Lab. He lives below the Beat Lab.
Yeah.
You know.
You're going over to his house?
Yeah, go to see him, visit him.
Okay.
Give him a little rub and tug.
No, I can do that.
Just give him a kiss. Man.
Yeah. And then, so that's yours. All right. Well, yesterday, let me give you my quick update. We went to that matinee. I like that movie. Knives Out.
I knew you might.
They're going to make... the thing is that, one, if you know me well, I don't like scary movies, and usually I don't like suspense.
Yeah.
This wasn't as more of a whodunit. But the thing is, I think they did this. Whoever wrote Ryan Johnson, R-I-A-N, Johnson.
All right.
I think this guy...
Rain Johnson.
Is it Rain? Okay. I don't know. I was just paying attention because I think this guy could make a franchise out of this inspector. The guy who played it and everything else.
Who played the inspector? Was it the
guy who plays
007?
Bond.
Yeah, 007. What's his name? Craig.
Yep, there you go.
Craig something. Yeah.
It's probably two first.
We are now a trio, by the way. Vasco was in the house.
He'll be sitting down in a second.
But
no, it was good. Yeah. So that's it. I mean, we've got Vasco's going to be joining us for the full 2 hours. We're also going to be the second half. We've got changes. The MLB announced new rule changes to talk about. Myles Garrett got reinstated by the NFL.
Oh, what other new rule changes?
Oh, buddy.
More than the playoffs?
Yeah, what do you do after this show? You just hunker down and watch Wheel of Fortune and call it a night if there is anything else going on?
First of all, do not...
Is there anything on TV outside of Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah,
do not blaspheme Wheel of Fortune. Pat Sajak. My wife almost got kicked out of the house.
My mom met Pat Sajak
your mom,
years ago.
Oh, she's the luckiest lady alive.
She is. She said he has a very weak handshake, though.
Oh,
like a limp handshake.
Well, but he's got to shake a lot of hands off. But he goes in soft just to be the nice guy.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Well,
I like it. He's a great host, though. I mean,
Dude,
it's him and Alex Trebek, and then it's a giant fall off from
yeah,
there.
absolutely. And you got to love Alex Trebek. I
Yeah.
mean,
For sure.
I mean, if Pat's the greatest ever, Trebek's the greatest Canadian
There you go. Yeah.
ever at it. I mean, plus what he's going through right now. But
Yeah,
Trebek
for
is
sure.
Trebek is absolutely a class act. It's just there's this thing. I have a love affair with Sajak.
Wheel of Fortune itself, too, is a much more... It appeals to a broader audience. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I can answer questions on the other one.
Right, yeah.
But sometimes when they get those
Yeah.
ones that are like twisters where you got to think of two things, like they'll give you a thing and like it's like
Before and after.
Yeah, like a before-after type thing, but it's like an A and Z it starts with, and you're like,
Yeah, well, it's like, okay.
whoa, dude. Like you just, and then those guys are hitting the button and getting it so fast.
I know.
I'm like, all right, what in the whole? Some of them I'll get, like I get onto it. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's a timing thing to it. You can't hit the button
Yeah.
until he's done, he's done answering. Well, giving the answer.
Oh,
Can't-
really?
Yeah, you can't read ahead or anything. That button is frozen, and it might even. I
Oh,
think it
yeah,
might even
okay.
delay you if you go
Okay.
too early. It might delay you like a half a second or a millisecond or something like that. You have to time it perfectly when he's done giving it to be like that.
Jeez. Well, I'll tell you what. It's a fun show to watch too.
I
That's
told you
on
I
it.
tried out for Jeopardy in Chicago, right?
You did?
Yeah.
You've been
Back
pretty
in
good
How
at it.
difficult was
2000.
that?
It was. I made it right before the round that you go into another room and you get to do the. So I made it through the first cut. The second cut was the one that we dwindled it down, and then I wasn't smart enough.
I mean, there's days when they have categories that are just for me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm
when you know you're
dominating.
just on. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
You're about.
Have they done an all sports one?
No.
They
Well,
should.
there was a sports
That'd be
show
so
that did
awesome.
something very similar.
Yeah.
Stump the Schwab. Remember that?
No, I don't.
Remember Stump the Schwab?
Was it only
Jay?
like a
For
year?
what? For.
It was on ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For-
So this guy
like
had.
a
but it's not
trivia.
Wheel of Fortune.
It wasn't Wheel of
no.
Fortune, but it was sports trivia, and you were trying to. They would give you the answer,
No,
or not the answer, but it was like you
Dan
had to come up.
Patrick
with...
hosted Sports Jeopardy. It was on CBS.
Okay, so
SN.
they-
Oh,
the
did
Jeopardy
he? Oh,
did
okay.
do a
I
sports
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
Jeopardy,
Yeah.
Cool.
And they also used to do a Rock and Roll Jeopardy. And that
Oh,
was on
that's
VH1.
awesome.
Oh, I could-
And
that
that
would be a
host,
fun one.
the host
Yeah,
of that is
that-
now the host of Survivor.
Oh, all right.
I
there you
like
go.
Rock and Roll
I can't
Jeopardy.
believe
Well,
Survivor's still going on.
I
It's
don't-
amazing that it's.
Yeah, well, you know why it's still going?
Gosh.
Because people like Jay.
I don't watch Survivor.
You don't watch Survivor?
I watched.
Big Brother. I
I
forgot.
watched Big
Yeah,
Brother.
yeah.
Come
Big
on,
Brother
you
and The
can't roll your eyes
Bachelor.
like that.
I'm sorry.
Well, speaking of, I got to get that guy in.
Who? The Big Brother guy?
Yeah, the guy that lives.
Did
in
we
Salem.
have him in on once?
No, that's Derek, and Derek wants to come on the show too, back on, because he wants to talk about landing places for Tom Brady.
Okay.
He wants to speculate and everything. But he was in Australia when I had him on. I wanted to have him on the week of when you were gone,
Yeah.
when Super Bowl. He was in Australia filming something.
Probably fires.
So.
Oh no, I think they're out by now.
So anyway, I said, "Come on, talk about sports. Talk about Tom. Where do you think he's going to speculate? Because he
Did
lives
you
in
hear
Italy."
how tragic that was? Some idiot started those fires. Some arsonist. Started
Really?
all- yeah.
I think
and
I
it,
said
and
that
it
from
burned
the
half
beginning.
the country, or whatever it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it was insane.
It's massive.
Like, hey, way to go, dude. Way to throw your cigarette out
Yeah.
in some dried brush.
Yep.
You're number one.
Isn't that what? Didn't I say that from the beginning? Like when it started, I said,
It's
didn't
also
some-
incredible that they can source that down to the butt. You know.
Well, yeah.
That's
I
so
mean, and I don't
impressive.
know if it was a cigarette, but what I'm saying is they figure it out. Jay, that camera's the worst camera on the planet Earth, by the way.
Well, I will fix it after our first break, but we're not getting there yet. We will come back after the first break. We'll talk about the new rule changes that MLB is doing, which it's I don't know. MLB, it's like we're gonna throw different
So
things.
this
at
is
you.
different than the playoff changes.
Yeah, we're gonna
Which
throw
I was.
different.
We had to cover this one fast because he was not here the day we talked about the playoff changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
no, we did talk about it.
Okay.
Were you,
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you cool with it?
I'm kind of indifferent, like, because I can see arguments for both sides. I mean, I don't know.
The only thing that throws me off is
it's
the
a lot more-
choosing
a
of
lot
your
teams.
opponent, which Buffalo Wild Wings was trolling you, Jay.
Me.
Yeah, in a way. They
But
said
they-
the New York Yankees select the Minnesota Twins.
Every year. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
smart.
well, I must have
Buffalo
missed
Wild
that
Wings-
part.
No,
you know what
because
you
I
don't choose?
They can
I'll tell you what
choose their
Buffalo Wild
playoff
Wings-
opponents.
So think about this. The number one record in both the leagues,
Yeah.
American and National, gets a bye.
Correct.
The other 6 teams, you have 2 division winners in the top wild card spot,
Right.
All right.
And then the other 2 wild cards.
and then the other two wild. I'm sorry. There's the other 3 wild cards. There's 4 wild cards now,
Right. 2 from each league, though. 2 additional from each league, though. Right.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
So
So
what
for-
I'm saying is you have 6 teams left, You have 2 division winners and a wild card, and then 3 other wild cards.
Yeah.
From that, the best record then selects its opponent, and then the next best record, and then what's left.
See,
is,
I don't.
Then
yeah.
that's how
I
they
think
select their
that's
first
silly.
run. That's a 3-game series. But that's the only spot where you select your opponent. After that, then it slots into
Sure, but why give them? Why let them select the opponent? Why can't you just go off of the seeding?
They want to have
and that's my thing. I want to have the seeding too.
They
No,
want
see,
to,
I didn't know that.
They want to have a selection Sunday type of show where people are going to watch it, and then you're going to have a representative. So just for an example, if this format would have been in 2019, okay? LA, we'll just do the American League.
Yeah.
Houston has the number 1 seed overall. They get the bye into the divisional round.
Yep.
Okay, the next best record would be the New York Yankees. They won the
Okay.
division. Then the Minnesota Twins. Okay?
Okay.
So then the 3 wild cards would have been the A's. They had the best record.
Right.
Okay.
Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Yep.
Cleveland,
That's it.
Boston, in that order. Okay, those are the best record 4 after that.
Yeah.
So then they get to come up there, and then they have a thing, and they're like, from the New York Yankees, Derek Jeter's going to announce. But it could be anybody, you know. But you know how they
We'll
NBA
just say
lottery,
the
they have the
Yankees,
kid.
Yankees end up taking Boston, right?
The Yankees pick the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah,
And now they're
yeah.
like, okay, Minnesota, you're on the clock. You have to choose between
The A's and-
no, the A's
Oh,
already
no, the
get there
A's
because they
get
got the
there.
number
Yeah,
1.
yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to choose between Tampa Bay and Cleveland. And Minnesota says, we'll take Cleveland.
Probably.
Because they wouldn't want to face Tampa Bay. They had the next best record.
And then the A's take on Tampa Bay,
Yeah,
and they get
by-
3 games to lose to them instead of
3
1.
games at home.
How much do you think proximity will play a factor in those decisions?
Well, they
Like-
all
like
3
a t-
games have
you
to
know-
be played at the higher ranked teams.
All 3 games are
so
played
they're
at.
coming
Okay,
to us, yeah.
gotcha.
So it
gotcha.
doesn't matter.
3 games.
Well, it would
Yeah.
matter though, because maybe you would want to pick the West Coast team if you're the Yankees.
But
you know,
there-
if I'm
there
just
wasn't-
saying, if
yeah.
there is though,
Yeah.
And
Or if you're
you know,
if you're the
you'd want to pick a
Twins,
team to travel
yeah.
all the way,
Well, we
but then
did it.
also you got to weigh which team's better, which got the better odds of beating you.
We did it all the way back to 2016, and it would have worked out
It's
the same for the
still silly,
Cubs.
though.
It
I-
still works. It's the
I-
whole.
Like I said, if it goes like that, fine. The rest of it's great. From there on out, the rest of it's fine. You're rewarding
I suppose I'm
the number
cool
1
with it.
record.
Yeah.
It makes the regular season mean something. You're out of the first round.
Yeah,
It's
Right,
what it
right,
is then to be
right.
like, wait, they've got the better two pitchers out of 3. We don't want to face them, but it will only be, this would be cracked maybe if this held on for 3 years, because you wouldn't want to make a poster material. They only picked us because they don't believe in us. So the Yankees come up
Right,
and go,
right.
we're just going to kind of follow it, and we're just going to take what would be the seeding. The seeding's Boston.
Yeah,
And that way no feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
Hey, Boston, we respect you as an opponent, but this is the way we're going to do it. And then Minnesota does the same thing, and until finally someone cracks and goes, no.
Right.
You've
right.
got 2 20-game pitchers that are great, that can go to 8 innings. It's not going to happen. Like, so we're going to go this route.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's the same thing. So that
but I feel like there will be few surprises most times.
You're probably
You know,
right.
you could probably guess exactly who's picking who before the selection is even made. You know, so
No, I have
we'll
no.
see how popular that gets. I could see a lot of people going to watch. The
It's
selection
happening for
show,
sure,
but-
then, Jay.
No,
And
they
it
can't
happens
be-
this year.
No, it's not for sure. It's
2021, right?
2022, because that's when the
okay.
collective bargaining agreement expires. Right now, the
Gotcha.
Players Association isn't going to. Something like this isn't going to add in more. You have to get involved. The changes that we'll talk about are a little bit different.
Why would the
though.
players be against? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. But the changes, and I'll give them to you, and then we'll go to break, okay? And we'll come back and talk to them. But MLB officially announced some new rule changes that will be implemented for the upcoming season, and they announced it yesterday. Pitchers must now face a minimum of 3 batters or complete a half inning before they can be removed from the game. So they must eat 3 batters
Wow.
or 3 outs.
You mean a half inning?
If they go,
Or half inning.
yeah, or they can. What does that mean? They can come in for yeah. So they can come in for 1 batter, but they have to go for 2 more in the next inning, right?
Right.
Active rosters will expand from 25 to 26 players, and then 28 in September. Your September call-ups will move to 28.
25 to 26.
I like that.
Okay.
Teams can carry no more than 13 pitchers. It moves up to 14 in September when you have your call-ups. To 28, up to 28.
All right.
2-way players such as Otani, can pitch without counting toward the pitcher's list. That becomes something different. Because there are like 3 or 4 out there in the minors that are high up there that can play both ways.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you had someone who could play both, and it was like, yeah, we're gonna make him a pitcher.
So Otani, all right.
He doesn't count towards the pitcher's list. So now,
you can have a deeper roster.
You still have, even though you can carry only 13, you actually have 14.
You can actually carry an extra person. Yeah.
Position players.
That's interesting.
Now, keep that in mind, not two-way players. Position players may now pitch only in extra innings or when teams are separated by more than 6 runs. So
they can only pitch extra innings.
In extra innings, so the team's tied, and it's like our bullpen's depleted, and we're just hanging on a prayer. And this guy, he threw 92 in high school, and we're gonna let him just go out there and see what he does now.
Yeah.
Or they got the 6-run rule, instead of a 10-run rule limit. Yeah, you're getting beat by 6. Go out there and throw whoever you want.
That's never gonna happen.
Teams may not reinstate pitchers or two-way players from the injured list until 15 days after the initial roster move. And the option period for pitchers increases from 10 to 15 days. And then now, managers have only 20 seconds to decide whether to challenge a call. It was previously 30 seconds. Take that, Astros, in your cameras and using your cameras.
10 seconds. It's going to make a huge difference in
it
the
is.
rate of play.
They delay, and they'll talk, and then they'll wait for someone, and they get one of their bench coaches. He gets on the horn, and the video guy's like, yeah, let me look at it, and they delay it and everything else. And they're like, oh, wait. Yeah, but I mean, it's 20 seconds. Though.
Yeah.
The big one here is pitchers needing to face 3 batters or finish an inning, which eliminates a lot of those quick relief appearances out of the bullpen. It's left-handed specialists.
You're not bringing
a
guy, a lefty, in just to face this lefty and then get out. Now you gotta make sure you got him for 2 more outs.
It again, with the change in the playoffs and this, traditionalists are probably going to be the ones that are like, no, absolutely not.
Well, the problem with baseball is traditionalists, to be honest with you.
Well, let's continue this conversation after the break.
That's marred by it the most.
Let's talk about pace of play in baseball and why we need to make all these changes all the time and why the Astros are dirty cheaters.
All right. Front Street Brewery is the oldest brew pub in Iowa, nestled right along the bank of the mighty Mississippi, serving Davenport since 1992 with a bunch of fine beers like the Davenport Gold, the Wise Guy, the Raging River, and that oh-so-popular Cherry Bomb Blonde. You can check out their Facebook page for food and drink specials. Also visit the webpage at www.frontstreetbrew.com. Calling all bars and restaurants right now. Get a hold of your local distributors and put some Front Street on your tap lines or in your coolers today. That's Front Street Brewery. The restaurant is at 208 River Drive, where the tap room is in the Freight House Complex.
Euro. Don't hassle us. We're local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
Get your maximum refund and your taxes prepared for half the price with AmeriFile.
I'm Christy, a single mom from Bettendorf. I got tired of paying $250 at H&R Block, so I went to AmeriFile. As advertised, they did my taxes for far less than half the price.
Bring in a copy of last year's tax return done by H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, Liberty Tax, or any other tax preparer, and we will cut your tax prep fees in half, guaranteed.
This year, AmeriFile has the best tax prep deal in town. Save hundreds having your taxes prepared with AmeriFile, and you get free Rudy's Tacos, free Whitey's, free Chick-fil-A, Hungry Hobo, or Fresh Blend Smoothies. Trust AmeriFile's 30 years tax experience to handle any simple or complex tax situation. Remember, this tax season, save hundreds with AmeriFile, the best tax prep deal in town. Free Rudy's Tacos, Whitey's Ice Cream, or Hungry Hobo. AmeriFile Tax Centers, Davenport, Moline, and Clinton. Call 762-8087. That's 762-8087 or AmeriFile.com.
H&R Block is a registered trademark. After price taxes from last year's fees. $75 minimum.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
A tweeter writes in, well, that's nice. Le Batard just wrapped the segment praising the blatant cheating of Calipari at UMass and Memphis. It was magical, he said. Also, lots of love for Memphis now, defending their current rule breaking and embracing it. Great work, guys. Set the bar high for everyone.
Is that guy?
All right, listen here, Tucker Martin. The sport's being investigated with FBI wiretaps. There's testimony that the starter at Creighton cost you $100,000. Memphis got this Weissman kid cheap. They got him at 1/10 of the price. Penny got him discounted. Like, what do you think you're watching? Quit trying to make it pure. It's not pure. Pure things are not FBI wiretap.
The Dan Levitard Show, 9 till noon on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
In walks this 24-year-old brown-haired lady nurse, and she goes, "I'm going to be the one removing your catheter." Oh, God. Then she goes, "I have to tell you this." She goes, "I've never actually done this before." What? Well, go practice on a dead guy.
Don't miss Billing Vol, live for 2 shows Friday, March 6th, Rhythm City Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now at rhythmcitycasino.com, by phone and in person at the Market Gift Shop.
Escúchame, this is Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
It is funny to have a coach say, no, I didn't mean to call them thugs. I meant to call them slugs. And I just want to officially parse the dumbest possible way we could ever discuss race in sports. Did the old guy mean slugs or thugs? If he meant thugs, racist. If he meant slugs, just good coaching. Maybe he's just old and made a verbal mistake because they fly around a lot and he's old. It is a great defense, though. It really is, because I believe him. I believe that he meant to say slugs.
I mean, it's really the only defense you can go to, right?
Racist!
I'm old. I meant to say slugs.
No, slugs! I'm just old and doddering. I'm not racist. Just old.
The Dan Levitard Show, 9 till noon on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Hey there, Quad Cities. It's Allison.
And I'm Scott, and we're your online marketing consultants from Town Square Interactive.
When you build your website with TSI, you'll work with digital marketing specialists like us, who are committed to getting you found online, attract customers, and grow your business.
At Town Square Interactive, we think your business deserves a personal touch when it comes to marketing. We work locally and partner with some of the top radio stations like the one you're listening to now. It's how we take your business to the next level.
Call us today at 563-326-2541, and we'll show you how to build a website, get found online, and bring in that business you want and need. Or you can check us out online at townsquarequadcities.com.
Again, that's 563-326-2541 or online at townsquarequadcities.com.
Build your brand, impress your customers, and make sure the people who need your products and services can find you.
And let us help you with Town Square Interactive.
There is no off-season. The latest on every sport possible is always heard right here. The Quad City Sports Leader is ESPN 1170 AM.
All right, everybody, back here in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by Dunright Satellite and Dish. And this is Don't Ask Us a Local on AM 1170.
100 years ago today, February 13th, 1920, the Negro National League was founded. It was founded by former pitcher and executive Rube Foster, no relation. The NNL became the first Negro League to achieve stability and last more than one season. It proved that African-American players could play on even terms with their white counterparts and draw just as much interest from baseball fans, per the National Baseball Hall of Fame. It had league champions like the Chicago American Giants, Kansas City Monarchs, and the St. Louis Stars.
Who pitched for the Monarchs? Wasn't Satchel Paige a Monarch?
Yes. Yeah. From 1924 to 1927... the Negro National League winner met the champion of the rival Eastern Colored League in the Colored World Series. The American Giants going 2-0 and the Monarchs going 1-1. The financial hardships of the Great Depression forced the NNL to shut down, but the league would resurface in 1937 as the Negro American League featured many of the same teams from the NNL days. 10 years later, in 1947, Monarchs' very own Jackie Robinson broke Major League Baseball's color barrier. 100 years ago today. It's pretty neat.
That's wild.
I know.
100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Lots happened.
A lot has happened since then. That's
a lot of
for
changes.
Sure. A lot has happened.
Yeah.
It is weird to talk about things with your children in times or whatever else.
Especially young kids, because they don't
understand the weight
grasping of it. Yeah. They're like, what?
They were, like, my daughter asked me, she's like, didn't, like, 50 years ago, didn't they think they were going to be flying cars by now? And I'm like, oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
But then I had to say to her, I was like, when I was your age, Sophia, and I said, Prince's 1999 song sounded like Out of This World. Like, that is never happening.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it came up, and I was like, oh.
It's here.
Yeah, that song. And that was how long ago now? You know?
I remember going to my. I remember just going to my mom because of the Cold War. That was a thing, when I was a kid. The Cold War. War. And I go to my mom. One time, I'm like, Mom, is there like really going to be a nuclear war? She goes, I've been saying that since I was a kid. Don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
but like even 30 years ago,
yeah, of course, Rocky into the Cold War.
At that point, she was like, "Don't worry about it. Drago's gone.
I would
Rocky
say
took care
Rocky and Reagan, but you could say Rocky. It's fine.
That makes sense.
If you told people though 1990 that within their lifetime or even the next 15 to 20 years you'd be able to watch someone and talk to them on a device miles and miles apart,
yeah,
you'd think they were nuts. Just in 1990, if you said that, like they'd be like, I don't see how that's possible. And then here we are, could do that.
I will say
at any
this
moment.
though: Dick Tracy had an Apple Watch.
He did.
Yeah, he would talk to people.
He did have an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well,
he had that down, but
what took him so long?
I don't know.
Well, sometimes the made up stuff is what becomes reality.
I just want to wait for like when we can get holograms.
That's what's going to happen.
You know,
well, so I can talk to the Emperor.
Yeah. You can
That's
FaceTime
happening.
somebody in their space.
So that's the thing that's happening, and that's the thing that I feel the most sorry for my kids for, because, like when you were younger and you're like, oh, I'm going over to such and such house, but you weren't going over there, and then finally they got wise and like, we'll put their mom on the phone type of thing, and now you can figure out they can drop a pin, or the kids say like, my phone was dead.
Yeah.
Now you can be like, show me a hologram in front of the actual house that you're in, and that's what's going to happen. And I feel sorry for them when they're teenagers. They're not going to be able to get away with anything.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
it's great.
Except for breaking into cars, because apparently that's the one thing we can't figure out.
That's the one.
That's the
one.
It's a forever problem.
When you leave your car unlocked with the keys in it, which has happened in a lot of these cases, it's pretty easy.
I've never understood that. I've never once ever left my keys in my car.
I used to.
I knew people that
I just don't know why.
Yes. I knew people that left their keys in their car, unlocked in the garage, with their garage door open all the time where I grew up, and I was like, "You gotta be crazy."
Yeah. Honestly,
I mean, we barely ever left the garage door open. I mean, sometimes
front
we would,
seat,
but like
that's a joyride waiting to happen.
Just put him down, leave him go.
You're just inviting negative circumstances, you know. Even if you're in an area, like
even if the chances are even if the chances are 1 in 1,000.
Yeah. Don't put that chance in there.
Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Like there's literally been times I've left my garage door open all night by accident.
And freaked out the next day.
Freaked out,
or took inventory for the next
literally,
right?
Literally, open up, go out to my garage, and there's a note on my car from Bettendorf Police. Hey, we shut your garage door for you.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
What are they doing out there?
They do that?
Bettendorf Police, dude, they're
what
great.
Are they doing out
Listen,
there?
Wait.
Bettendorf Police Department is
what are they doing out there?
Top line.
What if you were someone?
Doing out there?
They're doing their job, Jay. They're patrolling neighborhoods. That's what they're doing.
Okay, it's Thursday. Now I implore you to go grab a Bettendorf News, because it comes out on Thursday in the Quad City Times.
Yeah.
And you look at the police report, and there is not a single dot of things going on where you're out. And there's a reason
never
why.
know.
Now I know why. But I tell you what.
Well,
there was
never
all
know.
kinds of break-ins in my neighborhood 2 mornings ago. But you got to know.
They're everywhere, though. Listen. They caught the dudes that broke into Harrington's thing.
I know.
They were on
it.
So yeah, I'm telling you, you can't. You can't be everywhere at any given moment, but at least they're trying.
They are.
But what they're thinking is, all right, the thieves haven't hit this neighborhood yet. Maybe we should patrol this one because they're coming here next.
Yeah,
true.
See, they're plotting stuff. They have a map with little pins on it. I guarantee it.
They probably do.
I know they
do.
They see how
ribbon,
the growth where it goes.
When you're
with the yarn.
Yeah, but don't you? Wouldn't that make sense? Like it used to be, and they saw the growth and how it's maybe moving towards the east, northeast, and they're like, it's coming.
There's
so we might be ready.
I'm sure that's what they do.
Oh yeah, you're over there like, yeah, see, yeah, no, they don't.
Watch. I bet one of our Bettendorf Police Department could call in right now. 391-3776. I call in.
And say what?
It's my favorite police department in the entire world.
They are premier. I can't. You're right.
That's right. And
I
I'm
like
not,
all of them.
I'm not throwing shade at Davenport, Rock Island, or Moline or anything. I'm just saying I happen to live in Bettendorf. So, but when I lived in Davenport, I'm gonna tell you what, those boys were on it too.
Oh yeah.
Like stink on poop.
He got.
I caught a dude. I caught a dude breaking in my house.
They got him. Yeah.
And they got him.
Yeah, he lived in Davenport.
Fast, dude. So Davenport, they're no slouches either. No, they're good. We have great police around here, as far as I'm concerned.
I have no problem with them yet.
I mean, they have a tough time. I mean, I'm telling you, we get a lot of crime coming out of Chicago. Some
Rockford too, man.
Some a-hole tagged the building out there at Oscars.
Oh no!
Little gangbangers, idiots. You kidding me? You spray paint a building, really? Real cool.
That's dumb.
Before we went to break, we talked about the new rule changes. I think we knew that the pitchers must now face a minimum of 3 batters. That's all for pace of play. Same thing with 20 seconds to decide whether or not to challenge a call. Previously was 30. The active rosters thing, no big deal. It's really just it's pace of play. That's all.
The active roster thing is good. It helps. It helps when you have these batter minimums.
Isn't the same thing though if you go on Twitter and people that are actually in the know, that are smart enough to know that you actually respect their opinion about Major League Baseball, and everyone, the common thing is, well, then make it that everyone can see a game if they can't get to one live. Isn't that the issue right there?
Yes.
Instead of blocking out games, I mean, if everybody
I know,
who's
we're dealing
in
with that with the Cubs.
Yes.
No, I'm with you 100%.
That'll end up coming up just fine though, right?
I hope so, but right now
if
it said
if you purchase the MLB package and still can't watch your team, no matter where you live, that is horse hockey.
You have to get
That's
you have to buy
insane.
the Fox Sports Midwest package.
That's stupid.
Yeah, but see, that's how they get it, because someone who wants to pay $120 a month or whatever for all their channels or whatever. Now, you want football? Okay, we'll add another $200 for Sunday ticket. Oh,
it's going away.
You want baseball? Okay, add another $30. All of a sudden, you're paying $400 for all your sports. I mean, because they all go individually.
And it's going to stop.
It should.
Things are stopping. I know our sponsors, Done Right and Dish, okay? Dish is feeling the squeeze.
Yeah.
I mean, they pulled HBO from him and Fox 18.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to watch HBO or Fox, anything on Fox.
I know. Yep.
For a long time, and it's frustrating.
It's cutting into his XFL time.
Oh, yeah, cut into that.
Big time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you have companies out there like Hulu that are offering anything you need, unlimited
for
TVs for $65 a month.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. The streaming streaming is obviously the way it's going now, but the problem are the independent contracts with specific TV providers. That's going to be the hardest thing to crack.
Well,
is Hulu going to be able to get NFL games? That's going to be super hard because DirecTV has a monopoly on the Sunday ticket. You want all the games.
They get the local channels, so you'll get your local shows.
Sure.
But when that contract comes up for bid, who gets it?
That's the thing.
That's the thing. DirecTV?
But it's going to be one person that gets it. It's not going to be available to all, which it's the unfortunate reality of it. I feel like they should charge the same price and just be like, if you want NFL games, this is the price that we set, and if anything, I would think that could make them more money.
If I was the NFL,
but
I'd develop my own streaming service and just sell it that way.
Yeah, but then you deal with the same problem because now you got to pay for an NFL streaming service. You got to pay for MLB. You got to pay for NBA.
NFL can afford it.
They
start their own streaming service.
Everything you're saying here, okay? I love everything you're saying.
They take out
here.
the middleman, and then they're making the money.
Yes.
Why haven't they? Why haven't they created an NFL Plus?
Yeah.
I mean, Disney, it took them 2 years to put this together?
Well, to be fair, they have the NFL Game Pass, which is pretty popular. It's $100 every year. I had it for like years when I was writing for Steelers Depot. But you can't watch the games live. You get them 24 hours later, and you can replay all the games, and then you can rewatch them shortened
in like 8-minute clips.
So literally you could watch a full game in a half hour because they just go from play to play to play to play. Nothing, no filler, nothing in the middle, and then you can watch the all 22 film as well. But that's the only thing they've got. It's obviously completely different than watching the games live. But
I guarantee it's coming. They're figuring out a way.
They're probably gonna work towards. But maybe their deal with DirecTV is so lucrative for them that they haven't found a need to create their own infrastructure yet.
It's coming up. The deal's coming up.
The deal's coming up. That's probably lucrative with them, and it's lucrative with Fox and CBS.
It expires at the end of the 2023 season, and the reason why we
what does
the deal that they have with DirecTV, AT&T, but it does include an opt-out clause that they could have used at the end of the season, but they haven't. I have to dig deeper in this. I don't know what the expiration date is, but the NFL can use their opt-out and early termination clause with the AT&T and DirecTV. and then it can be up for bid. But if not, the original contract is 2023. And the reason why that's a big deal is we talked about this yesterday because Forbes came out with their, how much NBA value, what it is, and how they all that there's a growth now of 476% in the past decade. The NBA, there was a 476% growth, and when we mentioned the NFL, that only 179%, there was a pause in that conversation to be like, how? Because there's the big one, and what I said was, well, that's going to change when they get the new contract, and that's going to be incredible. Like the Knicks are the most valued in the NBA. Well, the Cowboys are at 5.5, and if we pull up the teams that were most valuable
in NFL.
Yeah.
Well,
by the way, just a side note, found out that the Bulls are the fourth wealthiest team. Sell the Bulls, please. Yeah. Just sell the Bulls.
Well, if you're the Knicks,
they
and
could sell them for $5 billion.
If you're the Knicks and you haven't won since 1973, and
you're number one
NBA Finals in 1994, and you're number one for the fourth or third straight year.
Yeah, I don't know how that's. It's New York. It's a prime spot.
Straight year. Fifth straight year, last championship 1973, last finals appearance 1994.
Let me guess the NFL.
Well, hey, it's like the Cowboys though. Like the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in a long time, haven't been to the championship in a long time, and they're still by far.
But they've been the number one franchise for a long time.
Yeah, they had the brand established.
But let's go through I think I got the top six. I don't know if I have them in order, but I think I have the top six.
By the way, you know what number one is, obviously.
I know Dallas, so that's why I'm going top six.
For the 13th consecutive year. Okay. The Cowboys were the most valuable team.
The Patriots have to be
Patriots are number two, probably.
The Patriots are number two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steelers
have
three?
to be in the top six. I would say
they might not be number three though.
I don't think they're
not
three.
As big.
Where are the Steelers
would it be the Chargers, or the Rams? One of those LA teams.
You're not saying anything.
It's not Steelers.
But are they in the top six?
No, they're. Well, I'm trying to find the top six here though. It's not in the top five.
Well, I would
they don't
have
have it listed. That's silly.
The Packers.
Packers are not in the top five.
I think it's probably because they're owned by the citizens.
49ers.
I got the 49ers are in the top five. They are number 5.
All right.
So you've got Cowboys, the Patriots.
I would say the Giants are probably 3.
New York Giants are 3 at $3.9 billion. $3.9 billion.
That's a lot of money.
Are the Redskins up pretty high?
No.
Okay.
Well, hold on. I can't say they're not up high. Yes, they are. They're number 7.
Okay.
$3.4 billion, but they're not in the top 6 that you got.
All right. So that leaves me here then.
So you've got the 1, 2, 3, and 5.
I got 1, 2, 3, and 5. I need to get 4 and 6 here. Let me figure this out real quick.
Denver?
No, I'm gonna go with the Houston. Houston
is number 9.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go with the Rams.
It is the Rams.
At 4?
Yes.
Okay.
$3.8 billion.
Cronky.
All right, and then I got 6. I'm pretty sure I got 6.
Okay.
Is it the Bears?
It is the Bears.
Nice.
At $3.45 billion.
Steelers aren't in the top 6.
A lot of this, Dan, if you look at it, population.
Yeah. It's all the
city
big cities.
Population.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
New York, L.A., and Chicago.
Right.
And then that's why I guess Houston. That's the 4th largest city in America.
Yep.
So.
And which explains why the Knicks and the Bulls are
exactly
so wealthy as well.
Winning 2. But yeah, Indianapolis in the 20th is number 20 overall. But looking at population, Atlanta 17.
I would have thought though the Steelers would have been in the top 6. I really would, at least top 7,
just because of the fandom.
And, I mean, they had
endorsement sales and all that.
The
type
Steelers
of stuff.
and the Cowboys are very similar, as in they had
history,
that great history of the 70s. Both of them.
Yeah,
those were the two teams that dominated the 70s.
Yeah,
and then they were both kind of in the 80s.
Yeah,
but they were both
and
really
the
good.
Cowboys blew up in the 90s.
But the Steelers were still good in the 90s too. The Steelers were really
they
good
went to
in
the
90s.
Super Bowl and they had
went to the Super Bowl
and
then the early 2000s Steelers got back to prominence, won a couple Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Lost one.
No, they are very similar teams, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They are.
They haven't had the
well run.
They probably haven't had the peaks and valleys Dallas has had. They've probably been more like
a little more steady, probably.
A little more steady.
Yeah. But Dallas maybe has had higher highs.
Yeah. I would say Dallas has had higher peaks, but not nearly as low as the Steelers haven't had nearly as low as lows.
Hmm.
Definitely. Well, who's going to get the contract? I mean, that's the thing, Jay. I mean, it's either going to be Dish or Direct,
Yeah.
or some streaming service.
Yeah, like Sling or something. I don't know.
Sling is owned
I feel
by
like
Dish.
Netflix is going to have to jump on some sort of. They're not hurting.
Amazon was involved in
I
this.
mean, if you're
Amazon was
there
trying-
you go, Amazon too.
Amazon, but they just lost their bid. Their bid got expired for the Thursday night game of the week. So that's back up. It's back up now. Their bid expired. They didn't come to an agreement. And that was, I think, as of 2 weeks ago. So Amazon might be in there
You
for
got
the
to think of the
streaming.
richest companies in the world, and one of them's Disney, and the other one's Amazon.
Yep.
Sorry, that's how it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Take that, Bernie Sanders.
But then the thing is, like with Disney with
Commie
ABC,
bastard.
then is ABC gonna
ABC's
be
part of Disney, baby.
Right, that's what I'm
Then they
saying.
love
So
it.
is
Yeah, and that's
ABC
why-
gonna get some games then?
Oh, ABC definitely going to win out on this.
Yeah.
I mean, because what does ABC get now? Just Monday night, right? They get Monday Night Football.
Basically.
Yeah.
I just hope they don't. I hope CBS doesn't lose anything because I want me some Tony Romo and Jim Nance for a while.
I don't think they do. I think those, like...
They're too solidified, probably.
I think, like, the Fox and the CBS, like, the way they do it, that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But
It's been working.
But I think if ABC's role can grow...
According to Forbes.com, this was back in April 2019 in discussion about this. It says, while the potential opt-out has created some tension between NFL and AT&T, which owns DirecTV, signs point to Goodell eventually announcing these discussions formally. He wants to continue his, basically goes on to say he wants to continue his 25-year partnership with them, but he is looking more into other things as well. NBC News also reported that the NFL has considered Google and Netflix for a streaming deal, but the two have been on and off and not interested respectively. It appears Disney and Amazon remain the frontrunners. Like I just told you, though, in this article in April, says Amazon currently owns the digital rights for NFL's weekly Thursday night football game, but they just lost those because they didn't follow up with anything with that.
You know, it would be funny if the NFL's own philosophy came back to bite them, and because now they're up for free agency. And what if AT&T slaps the franchise tag? You're not going anywhere, NFL. We're locking you down for another year.
Oh, that's great. You know what? It's almost when you hear these numbers, it's like they're playing with toy money.
It's incredible, man.
Like, it just doesn't,
it's
doesn't
a whole
compute
nother
in my
world.
head. It's like
we have no idea.
Yeah, they're just up there, and we are
It's
literally
like,
just.
all right, I'll throw $1 billion there.
We're not
and-
even pawns, Jay. We're just little ants down in the sand, and they're like, that ant over there, he likes the Steelers. Watch this. I bet I can get $100 a month out of this sucker. Watch this. Watch this.
It's like, oh, you're right. You are right.
Look, that one over here, he's a Cowboy fan.
People,
Yeah.
that's the thing, man. They set the precedent. People aren't going to stop watching sports, you know.
Then they go, who's that
They're
real
not
little
going to.
ant? Who's his team? Oh, he bounces around. I don't know where you get him. Oh, sorry, Jay.
No, don't apologize to me. I think it's.
Where were the Lions on that list?
Oh, the Lions.
Because they haven't been good forever, but they're in Detroit.
I don't think it's. All right.
Are we making fun of Randazzo right now?
They are 31.
Oh my
What?
God!
See that now? That's where
billion.
the trend goes the other way because Detroit's a very
Well, why didn't you give me
heavily
the? Why
populated
don't you get on the
area.
list, Jake?
Remember, I did tell you the bottom 5 NBA.
9 was Houston.
Hold on.
What was 8?
The bottom 5 NBA teams were less than 1.5 billion. All right, not a single NFL team is listed at less than 1.9. So
Why don't
obviously
you just
that
give me
is-
the list as it goes? I have 9, but I don't have 8.
All right. Number 8, you got the New York Jets.
All right, that makes sense.
All right. 10 is the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
3.05 billion. Then you have the Denver Broncos.
All right.
And you have the Raiders.
Uh-huh.
2.9, which that's going to go up, right? Being in Las Vegas and everything else.
Yep.
And the deals that they're going to make with the casinos. They're going to
Oh
be
my
worth
gosh,
so much
it's going to
money.
be insane.
Now, at 13, worth $2.85 billion and 300,000 strong owned, the Green Bay Packers.
I can tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
Best job to have in Vegas right now is stripper. Just so you know.
I think it's exotic dance.
When has it not been the best job to have in
Yeah,
Vegas?
that's true, yeah.
They just got a raise. Is what I'm getting.
They-
Significant.
Did they
raise.
unionize?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, they're going to be doing fine.
2.8 at number 14, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Huh?
Yeah, see, middle of the road.
I would. Man. Okay.
Well, let's go buy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure. Why
let's
not?
get after it. If it's only 14.
Yeah. How many is it still? 2 point what?
Girl.
2.5 billion.
At 2.775
we get a few
billion, and
people
number
to
15,
pull together.
the Seattle Seahawks.
All right.
Number 16, the Miami Dolphins.
All right.
17, the Atlanta Falcons.
And the Saints are pretty low, huh?
Yeah. 18 is the Ravens.
Buffalo.
19 is the Vikings.
Wow. All right, let's see if we can get the rest of these. Let's see if we can do 20 on.
Okay. Well,
I
we
wonder how much the
we
Vikings
know
raised
one
after
is.
the new stadium and everything. And getting the Super Bowl. I don't know if that counts.
So we know 31 is the Lions.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the least valuable team in the NFL. Vasco, the least valuable team right now in the NFL. Is it the Arizona Cardinals, Jay?
No, it's
I feel
not.
like it might be the Jaguars.
It's not.
It's not the Jaguars either?
Mm-mm.
Bucks?
Nope.
Huh. The Chargers.
The Titans?
Nope.
Wow.
The least valuable team is the Buffalo Bills.
That's wild.
Oh, wow.
That's wild.
Now, I'm going to give you a couple things also to let you know. When we talk about this and you're like, okay, what would you want to, if you're going to own an NBA, MLB franchise, whatever else, and obviously the value is in anything to do with this television rights that's going to come up.
Mm-hmm.
The craziest thing about, the Giants are I got to put that in there too. I'm looking at the percentage of increase over 1 year from the year before. The Bills, although they ranked dead last,
had the biggest jump.
They increased by them, the Bears and the Rams, even though I have them top 6. The Bills increased by 19%, but so did the teams that were at the very bottom. The Lions increased by 15%.
Yeah,
the teams that are even at the bottom.
We got to get 20 through 30. So let's.
Oh, sorry.
So all right, we know where we're at.
20 is the Indianapolis Colts.
All right.
21 is the Chargers, LA Chargers.
All right. I'm gonna have to say 23 is the Titans.
You have 22 next, right? You skipped 22. Yeah,
22.
Carolina Panthers.
Panthers.
23 is the what?
23 is the Bucks.
Nope, it's the Jags. They increased
Really?
12% from last year.
24 is the Bucks.
It's the Chiefs, which that should probably increase a little bit, right? With the
25 Bucks.
25 is the Saints.
Oh my God. Okay.
26 is not the Bucks.
All right. Well, 26 then is the.
You said it earlier.
Yeah. Titans.
No. Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Then it's Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Then the Titans.
Then the Cleveland Browns.
Ugh. Then the Titans.
Ravens.
Then the Titans.
And the last team,
Did we
number
say
30.
Bengals. Sorry,
the
it's
Bengals.
yeah. Bengals increased by 11%. The Titans only increased by 5%. They're one of the only ones in the bottom half of them and the Cardinals are the only ones in the bottom half of the league, the bottom 16, that didn't increase in double digits.
This was an article before last season, right?
Yeah,
or was
this one?
Okay.
No, this one had to be during the season. It was posted. It was September 4th. Yeah, so I guess right.
Okay,
Before
all right.
Right at the first.
Because I bet the
season
Titans increased a little bit just with their run and the kind
obviously
of
the
spark.
Chiefs.
Chiefs for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that, I mean, the thing that came out from Forbes, the average value was what 2.1, 2.12 for NBA, but the average NFL is higher.
Yeah.
I'd want to own an NFL team. I mean, it's coming up there.
There's
but
no question.
Which one? I don't know.
If I had my choice, I'd pick
that
Cowboys.
big time
If I had that
entrepreneur
kind of
Gary
money.
Vaynerchuk, I
Yeah.
think his name is. He does all those like speeches and motivational stuff. But he said he has been pushing to buy the Jets for like 15 years. He's wanted to do it since he was a kid, and he's a multi-billionaire. So I feel like a couple years down the road, he might do that. Jay-Z's same
Let's get
thing.
to know that guy. Let's get him on the
exactly,
show.
man. Just like get him on the show, buddy. Be like, I can throw $10 towards your investment.
Consulting. I come in, I
I got
zero
I
down.
got a couple grand.
Yeah, no, I got just zero down. I'll give you my time.
Yeah, look
Sweat
at me.
equity.
I can guess lines really good.
You can guess the lines on XFL, everything.
Hey, do you think the
Got
NFL's
powering?
gonna put the lines on like the XFL's doing? Do you think they'll go that route?
I think it'll take a while now.
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, out of the 4, only the first game was very heavy on the gambling talk.
Yeah,
and that was Levy. Steve Levy was very heavy on it. The other ones weren't so much. I mean, I think
there should just be a happy medium there. I think if you go too heavy, then it's kind of taken away from the actual point of the game and what's happening around it. But I think there's a good balance. The
kickoff thing. I see the NFL taking that, and I don't know.
All right, so
that would be the one rule I see him taking.
I listened to a podcast with Will Brinson and Brady Quinn was on it, and I was getting really, really annoyed because they obviously knew about the XFL. They wanted to talk about it, but they really couldn't hammer who was playing who.
Yeah,
and it was just kind of like, oh, guys, it was 4 games, and you had 2 days to just do a little prep or someone to write for you.
Right.
Brady Quinn was talking about that, and his thing was just that you're going to see more punt returns, kickoff returns to a sideline because they're not going to be able to have the time to do cross blocking and everything else, and that's something that they need to work on. But yeah, they didn't know what team won, and they were like, I think it was that game, and they had Seattle playing someone else.
It's much more loose conversation than actual analysis.
And with CBS getting partnering up with William Hill and all the gambling that they're doing, I think they need to.
You just got to get 2 people to miss, and you're gone.
There wasn't one though.
I know, but
that was the other thing. Brady Quinn was like, yeah, and then someone tried for the 3-point, and then they're arguing on the air, and I was like, did you guys not have writers for this? There wasn't a single 3-point attempt.
No, there wasn't.
Point after.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, there was one. It didn't work out. And I was like, you guys are on a podcast. They can be edited. It's not live. And you guys have writers for this.
It's not our show. It's not a bunch of ding-dongs just talking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly it. They can edit it and go back and be like, oh, yeah, there wasn't one. But anyway, they can say pause and go back, and they have producers for it. Yes, it's not like our show. Not at all.
I do feel like the NFL will double down on the extra point for a while, but somewhere down the line, that's going to go. I don't know how long it'll take. I just feel like it's becoming more and more just not fun to watch, boring. They're still completing them at relatively the same clip. I mean, it went down 1 or 2 percentage points.
It's the
That's
kickoff.
not a big enough difference.
I love the extra point the way. I really don't like the XFL's way of doing it.
I don't really care for it either, unless they go for 3. But
I don't mind it, but I think maybe what the NFL could do is cut out the middle one, 2-pointer from the 5. I would say you're either gonna really try and earn that from the 10, or you will give you that from the 2, like the 1 point or something like that. But then they'll throw in
but the
another
kickoff
play
is the
for
key.
people to get hurt.
It was close to almost
something.
90% of the kickoffs in the NFL last season were touchbacks. Yeah. That's the key.
Yeah.
The other one was
the kickoff for sure is the biggest.
biggest
thing.
Overturn calling the replay booth was a big deal too, which I even heard someone say something like that they didn't care for they don't like the replay booth with the camera there because it's too long on the guy, and you never know what crazy person might be if they have money on it to go after the replay official later. I was like, that's crazy.
You could literally say that about anything, anywhere, anytime. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're worried about that, I don't think that's really a worthwhile concern. Well, I think the transparency of the refs, though, that the XFL showed, I think that's something the NFL should take.
Yeah.
Tell us what are the discussions being taken place.
I loved it. Yeah.
That will hold refs a little bit more accountable. That'll make
refs
them
mic'd up.
Yes,
basically.
Yes, I thought that was great. I was confused at how much they were showing the head coaches giving the play calls.
Yeah.
I mean, direct play calls. I'm like, other teams will just watch the broadcast. They'll know what your calls are then. They'll know the verbiage.
That's what I was saying.
It's gotta be,
maybe the XFL just doesn't care about the competition element as much as the entertainment.
Maybe they're not saying that at the line. Maybe that's what they're saying in the huddle, so no one can hear it.
It goes into the special teams, guys. Though it only goes into the special teams.
Yeah, I'm talking about
there's a delay
every
though,
play.
Vasco. I mean, there's a delay. I mean, there's
No,
got
I'm
to be
not saying live.
Yeah.
I'm saying
The
if
next
you're
week.
scouting,
Okay.
yeah. If you're scouting the Vipers, you play them next week.
Yeah.
Watch this previous game and watch Mark Trestman. Yeah, watch every single play and find out what the play calls are.
That's why they
and
do
then,
this.
yeah, but they're mic'd
I
up.
will write
They're
to
mic'd up.
Sluggo.
Yeah. That's what I'm
45.
saying. Yeah.
I will write to Sluggo 45. They cover it up.
Exactly. Then you're in the clear.
We got to take our break, and yeah, we can talk more about this. Hey, we got to talk about Gracie returning to the booth for the Marquee Network. It's gonna call the games for the Cubs. I think that's a great thing for him.
That's
too.
awesome.
Sweet. I'm so excited.
Yeah, are you ready over there?
Oh, are we going to break?
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, the
All
time
right.
flies when you're
All
having
right,
fun
Quad
with us
City,
three
stop
ding-dongs.
going to your social media sites asking Jay where you're going to get a tattoo, where you're going to grab some lunch, because Bird doesn't care. Pick up your Locals Love Us guide.
don't.
It has an easy-to-navigate table of contents that help you find what you're looking for. Or go to localsloveus.com, click on Quad Cities, and browse your favorites. It's easy to use, and they even rank the most popular places for you. Get that right, Chopper. Locals Love Us, your guide to the best.
This is Tyson Blazer, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 1170 AM.
Back by popular demand.
Gobo Productions presents One Night of Queen. Since forming in 2002, Gary Mullen and the Works have performed to sellout audiences all over the world.
And now they're back in the USA
For a brand new tour.
One Night of Queen is a spectacular live concert recreating the look, sound, and showmanship
Of arguably the greatest rock band of all time.
You'll hear classic Queen numbers including
We Will Rock You, Fat Bottom Girls, Another One Bites the Dust, Bohemian Rhapsody, and We Are the Champions.
One Night of Queen, performed by Gary Mullen and the Works.
This show will rock you.
Coming to the TaxSlayer Center March 18th. Tickets are on sale now at the TaxSlayer Center box office and Ticketmaster.com. Presented by Town Square Media.
The Will Kane Show.
Joe Judge became head coach of the New York Giants. As I walked up today in the hallways, Mike A gave me that good to see you smile, but it's more like a wince because Nuno was nearby. We weren't really worried about anger so much as hurt feelings.
It was an apologetic look, like you'd see when you know somebody's had a rough day, like, how you holding up, big guy? How you doing, champ?
Wait a minute. We're all about honesty here. No one's like that. We want to see each other miserable. Like, that's what everyone was hoping for, is that I would be miserable, because it would have just been great for the show, right? Like, I would have to produce this show, and on a Monday after Jason Garrett's just sitting here clapping away, and then I can't even speak.
And just out of curiosity, not for any personal interest of mine or Mike A's or Bubba's, how miserable are you?
The Will Kane Show, 2 till 5 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Online sports betting is here with EliteSportsbook.com. If you are an active Rhythm City Casino Resort Club member, go to EliteSportsbook.com now and follow the prompts to start betting. Not a Resort Club member? Visit Rhythm City to join today. Bet with Elite Sportsbook at Rhythm City Casino Resort or online now. More ways to get in the game with EliteSportsbook.com and Rhythm City Casino Resort. Must be 21. Gambling a problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Golic and Wingo.
And good for the Raiders, right?
Good
After
for
all
the
the
Raiders.
crap they've been through.
But I love the times that the Raiders win because then Jason brings in donuts. I mean, that's the best thing about this whole thing.
See, I love that on obviously the cellular level where my body craves it, and I hate it for the part of me that's in football season trying not to gain my customary 15 pounds. So it's a real double-edged sword here.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll be honest, gentlemen. It was the first time I've ever watched a Raiders game where I didn't eat a dozen donuts. There were no donuts happening. I ate healthy.
You're telling me that was the first time in your life that you did not eat a dozen donuts watching a Raiders game?
That I can remember, yes.
That's insane.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a
What did you have, a dozen donuts, and what did you drink?
3 2-liters.
Three 2-liter bottles of diet soda, a dozen donuts, and a pizza.
What?
None of that last night. Ate healthy. If you'd like, guys, I can start bringing in carrot sticks for you.
No, pass on that
That'll
one.
get your fingers
Hummus?
broken.
Little hummus?
No.
Stop that.
Golic and Wingo, mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
With the loss of a loved one, planning a fitting service can be a real challenge. At Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, with our personalized service and attention to detail, you can be confident the service will be everything you wished for. We've been serving families in our area for generations. we would be privileged to serve yours too. Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, Rock Island, Milan, Reynolds, and the Knox Chapel.
Know the lines, hear from the experts, and get your bets ready. Don't Hassle Us, We're Local is your source for all things sports gambling. Noon to 2 on ESPN 1170 AM.
All right, everybody, back here in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by Dun Right Satellite and Dish. This is Don't Hassle Us, local on AM 1170. Vasco in house.
Yee.
I was intrigued by this thing. Caliendo, by the way, is funny. Frank Caliendo.
Mm-hmm. He is. He's hilarious.
Just great.
He's
but
great.
There was this video of this dude dancing with a gun and it went off. And the Caliendo was doing a Jim Rome voice to it.
Oh.
Like explaining to what it was. It just... that's got to be one of the most talented dudes in the world. I mean, in our lifetime, there's been like impersonators. Like, remember, like
Rich Little. Jeez, we're old.
And then who was the?
Rick Moranis is coming back. They're doing a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids sequel. He's coming back to acting after 20 years. Random thought.
What about the who was the guy before Rich Little? Jonathan Winters.
No, I know what you're talking about. It's going to take me a little bit.
He would do Jonathan Winters.
No, I wasn't Jonathan Winters.
Yeah, he would do stuff on like Scooby-Doo and stuff.
Mm-mm.
He could do like helicopters. And...
Well, you're thinking of Michael Winslow.
Well, I know him too, but Jonathan Winters.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of a chubbier dude, dark hair.
Yeah, that's Jonathan Winters. He was Mork and Mindy's Mork from Work.
Yeah, he was a hell of an impersonator too.
Yeah, such in the 70s, right?
But then all of a sudden it was Caliendo. I mean, I think Caliendo might be the best ever. Don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty good.
All right.
He's pretty good.
I mean,
he's pretty good.
I've never heard his Connery, but it's got to be better than mine. Do you have the beast?
A shaken, not stirred.
In your shite. Last time I swam this channel, I was your age, so I'm screwed either way.
You almost sound like Bane.
Oh, yeah, I can do the Bane. You think the darkness is your ally. It's merely, you're merely born to it, molded by it.
That's actually pretty good.
What does he say? How does he say it again?
I was molded by it. Molded by it. I haven't seen it. It'll be painful for you.
That's what I used to. My kids used
what
to
a
do.
lovely, lovely voice.
It'll be painful for you. Yeah, my kids used to do that.
Interesting. To shoot a man before you throw him out of a flying plane.
Vasco, what did you think about Myles Garrett being reinstated by the NFL?
I was a little surprised that they made the call this early. And I was also surprised that he wasn't given like a 2-game at the start of the year. But, it is what it is. But, the biggest thing I think is that they have now set a precedent for what is the punishment for using your helmet as a weapon on the field, and they have said it is 6 games. So now we know it's 6 games.
Well, I mean, he did have to meet with the commissioner. He discussed the counseling that he was taking.
Oh, sure.
There's no. I did not ever see this going into the next season. I thought.
Well,
the
I
NFL
thought once they said it's indefinite, then
you can go back on this show and I said that this will not see 2020 because they want to put this to bed, and that's why they're putting it to bed now. They don't want this brought up right before. Well, they don't want this brought up 2 months before the season.
But then you got to be prepared for a firestorm if it happens again, and you hand down a harsher punishment. Now people are going to say, "Well, hey, you gave him 6 games. Why am I getting 8? Or why am I getting 10?"
Yeah.
I mean, you have effectively said what the penalty is for this type of action. It is what it is, though. It's a new season. Getting back to things. What are you gonna do?
All right. Got a phone call. It's your friend Anderson.
Oh,
you ready?
Sweet.
You ready? Are you done? Are you done playing Tetris on your phone?
I'm not playing Tetris.
Okay.
Mr. Anderson, how you doing?
What, you guys got caller ID now?
Yeah, sorta.
We know what's going on, Mr. Anderson. People like you, Mr. Anderson, need to be tracked, and they need to know what you're doing at all times, Mr. Anderson. I don't like the fact that you're out here wandering around the Quad Cities on your own with the chance that you might just run into me.
Turned into Randy Macho Man Savage over here.
No, it's
hard to believe they let me work with kids too, huh?
I know, dude. By the way, congratulations on having great daughters. I'm going to give full credit to your wife, but, you know.
Well, they take after their mom.
I know.
You know, I don't take any credit for any of that.
Oh, Jason, you're such a boo calf baby. I'm just teasing.
No, I don't know if I missed it, if you guys talked about it earlier, and I just wanted to ask you a couple questions that some I heard on talk radio or sports radio this morning. Is there a lot of truth to this potential of the Bears shopping Khalil Mack to the Redskins for the number 2 overall pick? And I was curious about I heard something else about the Lions potentially shopping, what's their quarterback's name?
Matthew Stafford.
Stafford? You know, he's good friends with Clayton Kershaw.
Well, shopping Stafford for the potential of trying to get Tua in the draft. You guys have any thoughts on that?
So they would probably have to shop him to the Dolphins. I guess it depends on how much the Dolphins are sold on wanting Tua. Stafford's a great quarterback.
Yeah, it's just,
he just hasn't had success.
There's so many, and no playoff wins for that long. He is a great quarterback. I love him. He's an awesome dude too. He's great for the community. I know he's loved in Detroit, but you never look at Stafford and say, "Oh, Stafford screwed this up." Right. But at the same time, he's just not moving the needle. I think they could very well benefit from, just trying to move on and kind of go this new route.
If you're gonna do it, do it now. Yeah.
Now, I have no issue with that, and I think there probably is some weight to that argument of them trying to get Tua in the draft. But I think Khalil Mack is less likely than the Matt Stafford thing, just because of what they gave up for him and how they're strapped.
But if they get rid of him and get the number 1 pick and a first-round pick, Jason, is that what you say, or the second-round pick?
Number 2 pick.
I think it would be the
number 2 overall pick.
Okay,
or number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, all right. Let's do this. How this all started, all right? Because of what they'll do once the Super Bowl's over is everyone will say like, what all 32 teams have to offer for whatnot, and it started with the Bears having like zero trade assets at all if they wanted to move anywhere, which then opened up the speculation of should the Bears shop around anybody, should they trade, and it went to like, well, can they get this $23 million contract that they per season that they owe Mac, and would the Bengals want to do it for number 1? And apparently the Bengals kind of said no, and the speculation then went to the Washington Redskins, which in turn, then you're going to go after Chase, right? That's what they're going to. That's what they would take for 2.
Sure.
At there, so I think that's about where it started. If you can kind of figure out where the rumor began, and it started at NBCSports.com, and they were the ones that saying like all the moves that all the teams could do. And it was like they have zero trade assets, but they could move Khalil Mack. And, of course, then you've got Reddit forums and any other forums and people talking about it. And the thing is, it's a $23 million. No, I'm not saying it's not a possibility. I'm just saying that
there's speculation.
But you need a trade partner is what you need.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious. I know Chicago was really high on, Khalil Mack, and I just assumed they would want to keep him there. I just thought that was an awfully big thing to give up, when you're trying to, make your franchise relevant again. And they really, that defense was just killer. I think that would just be a bad thing to give up, in my opinion. But I don't know.
And I think it'd be weird also to give up a high asset like Khalil Mack to then a once-in-a-generation player to then go after a once-in-a-generation player at the same position, only younger.
Exactly.
And you're now. I doubt that you would give up just Khalil Mack for that. I think there'd have to be some extra things in there, like Khalil Mack and a 3rd or Khalil Mack and a 4th to get the number 2 overall pick. The Redskins are going to say we want more than that. And not to mention the Redskins have one of the best pass rushers in Ryan Kerrigan. So now is that the need that they're trying to fill versus probably every other position on that team could use some work. So, and we'll see if it's plausible, but I don't see the Bears shopping him unless it's a great deal that they just can't pass up on.
All right. Well, that's why I called the brains of the Quad Cities. I mean, you guys know what's up. And
well, you called the wrong place.
I haven't even talked yet, but thank you.
I haven't seen you since you've been back from Mexico, bud.
Yeah, you have. You were just drunk.
I don't remember. Yeah. Hey, and Foster, I scored that headband for you, man. It's going to be a donation to the studio. So.
Oh, from your daughter, from the thing. Again, we talked about it yesterday. $2.5 million raised.
Yeah, it seems kind of low, doesn't it?
No, why?
That seems like a really good number.
Oh. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
I was kidding.
I think it's my thing that I said yesterday is I don't know why we're not sharing and reporting it more. So, no,
well,
it's
that's
fantastic.
What you would think. I mean, it was for a good cause. She still talks about being on with you guys.
Oh, that's
she had a blast. She said it was exhausting. It's probably one of the hardest things she's ever did, but she finished it, and she didn't give up. Neither did her squad. They made a lot of TikTok videos, and it's kind of fun to watch. So
those are happening a lot these days.
They are.
What's that?
Those are happening a lot these days.
TikTok is a viral sensation.
I'll send you a couple of mine, Troy.
Oh, sweet. Hey, I got a quick question for you. If you had to rank them, who are the two guys you think have the hairiest palms in the Quad Cities?
All right,
come on.
I gotta let.
I mean, you gotta go with Fuller at top one, right?
All right.
No.
Yeah. Jay, I'm sorry. I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah,
I got Fuller and Dennis. There you go.
Well, I think that's a solid one too, though. I'll give
I
you
do
that.
too.
Just don't tell Fuller I said that.
All right. Thanks for calling.
All right, bye.
That's a great question. Thanks. Rosso, if we got the...
Were we talking NFL draft a little bit?
A little bit. Well, yeah. If we got the...
It's NFL year-round, my man.
Here's my prediction. Three quarterbacks in the top 5. Book it right now.
If we just
Guaranteed.
got called the brains of the Quad Cities, the face of the Quad Cities is here.
Yeah, he is the face.
Came in. All right, 3 quarterbacks in the top
Guaranteed.
5.
I bet the farm on that one.
Tell me.
So what, Tua, Burrow, and then what, Herbert?
Yep.
In the top 5.
There's no question somebody else is going to trade up to get Herbert, in my opinion. Because I think between him and like Jordan Love, there's a big drop-off.
All right, where are we at right now? What are we talking about? I'm lost.
I like how you pays attention in between Tetris games and then like, wait.
So
I want to know what's going on.
I'm saying
here.
we're going, obviously Burrow won. I think Chase Young's a lock. I really do. You know, right? I mean,
Chase Young's the
defensive end
from Ohio State. The only thing to me there could be with a new coaching staff and kind of a new outlook in Washington, maybe somebody gives them a lot, knowing that Detroit wants to trade out of 3. Maybe the Chargers move up to 2. Maybe it's the Dolphins that say, "Hey,
so
we got all these
3
picks.
Right now?
We're going to go to 2," and the quarterbacks go 1 and 2. 3 is Detroit.
The Detroit Lions,
and that's where everybody's talking about trading out of. But maybe Washington says, "Hey, you know what? We can get 2 first-rounders from the Dolphins."
Yeah.
And only move down, to 6 or 7, whatever Miami's picking at.
Well, they
and say, "Hey, why don't you get 2 at 2?" Who's that?
Ooh, I like what you just said there about
Washington already has their quarterback.
Yeah, so that's why I think they're as much of a trade target as Detroit is. Everybody's talking Detroit, but I think Washington could easily move down if they get the right offer.
I think that's a great idea. Unfortunately, Dan Snyder's their owner.
But Ron Rivera knows what he's doing, and I think he's going to pull the strings a little more than the past coaches.
He signed up for that deal by he gets to make the decisions. 100%.
Right.
He's not Riverboat.
He's
Ron
not taking that job unless he's got some clout and say, just like Bill Parcells,
Or do they take 2?
If they want you to make the dinner, then they ought to allow you to shop for the groceries.
Well, if they take 2, then that's just a waste of what they did last year.
Yeah, but that's the Cardinals did. If you don't think you got the guy,
sometimes you gotta
cut the cord.
Keep throwing darts at the dartboard until something sticks. And at the most important position, I wouldn't disagree with the Redskins taking quarterback.
So
it lights a fire under Haskins, and you could trade them later if you need.
Them and Detroit are really fascinating in this draft to me. I mean, I think that's where. But I just think Herbert. Teams overpay for quarterbacks. He's a 3.5, 4-year starter. Got the build. He's not all that impressive statistically. I get it.
Where's he from?
Oregon. But the drop off between him and Jordan Love or whoever else is being talked about as the 4th or 5th quarterbacks is so significant. I think Herbert goes in the top 5. So I think it's those 3 in the top 5.
That'd be interesting.
Who are the top 5 picks, Jay? You got Cincinnati, Washington, Detroit.
Then
the Giants. Then the Dolphins.
Giants, Dolphins, Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are top 6.
Huh.
So obviously New York's not taking a quarterback.
Right.
I think Burrow's going number 1, so you have the other 4 teams to play with.
Back either. So they're going to probably go O lineman. That's a need for them.
Yeah, the Giants
because they weren't protecting.
Yeah, but there's when you look at like Wirfs and Andrew Thomas and the Becton kid from Louisville, those 3 they could trade back to. They could trade down to 6 with the Chargers, right?
But also,
and still get an O-lineman.
Also, if the Redskins give up that number 2 spot, someone's not.
Chase Young could be there too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Chase Young could fall.
I see the
to the end of the top 5.
I see the Chargers trying to get Tua hard.
They could, yeah. I mean,
that's the team
I can see them pushing forward too.
Now that we're talking this reckless speculation, Rosso.
That's what Thursdays are for.
But maybe they'll think that Herbert's going to be there.
But between them and the Dolphins, they both want Tua.
But they're not going to be able to sit at 5 and 6 and get him. I'm telling you that right now.
That's
somebody else who you're not thinking of, middle of the pack team that maybe has an aging quarterback, team that doesn't like their young quarterback. Heck, maybe the Saints. Think about somebody like that. Somebody wants to move up and get if people like Tua as much as these draft nicks do.
The Raiders would love him.
Exactly. There's another one.
Okay, your Steelers would love him. Big Ben's at the end of that rope.
Yeah, but the Steelers aren't going to trade up.
Okay,
they don't have a first round pick
anyway. Yeah,
they don't have a first round pick. Okay. They got nothing.
Another
to give
team
them.
Another team he's saying you're not thinking of, the Falcons.
For a quarterback, I don't know.
Well,
I think they're fine
to
with
build.
it.
It's time
they
to
have
move
just
on.
so many issues on that team right now.
I don't think the Jets, the Bears, possibly. Colts.
Colts would be an interesting one. Jacksonville. They're still not
or the
sold.
Carolina,
like,
don't know what's going on.
Carolina's interesting too because they
Tennessee's
gave that guy
gonna need their quarterback of the future sometime soon too.
I would say the Bucks or the Titans as well.
Do the Bucks have 2 first-round picks too? I think they do, like 14 and 20 something.
Well, a lot of this,
Bucks are interesting too. Arians. I mean, there's a lot of factors here. I think
a lot of this depends on where Brady goes, you guys.
It's a big year for quarterbacks.
Where does Brady go?
Right.
That's the thing.
Well, where do all these free agent quarterbacks go? Where's Teddy Bridgewater go? That'll all of these things will kind of bring some light into what needs are there come draft time.
Right.
That's why I can't wait to see what happens to free agency here.
Brady ends up at San Diego. I see San Diego drafting worse.
Right.
To solidify that line to help protect
at 6
Brady.
then, if they stay at 6?
Yeah.
No, I think Wirfs will fall out of the top 10.
Stop saying San Diego. That's my thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to call him San Diego until they move back.
That's
I'm
what
sorry.
I say too. Every time.
It's BS.
It's always like someone on the Here Just Fun Facebook comments like LA Chargers. I'm like, I'm sorry.
It's tough, right?
Yeah.
The first time I did highlights, I think it was Thanksgiving a couple years ago. I screwed that up the whole time. I didn't think twice about it.
It's just like it's
weird.
in your head. It's like,
well, and then we're gonna have to say Vegas Raiders. It's gonna be kind of weird.
Even when they were in LA, I called them Oakland.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Good Lord, like quit doing it.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I mean, the Rams have moved so many times. I just call them the Rams.
Yeah.
You know,
the Cronky Rams.
Yeah. I think it's great. I love this regular speculation.
We got a lot of time to talk draft, but yeah, since you're here, Vasco, the Swan Song.
No, God, dude. I predicted you might cry today when he leaves.
Well, we're going to try to get dinner later as long as my schedule aligns, so maybe later.
You want me to call the station and tell them you're sick?
Well,
do it.
Well, the deal is I've been sick all week. Little flu action. Flu is no joke this year, guys. I did not get a flu shot, and I paid for it. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I never.
I've taken a full box of Theraflu, almost a full bottle of NyQuil in the last week. That's where I'm at. It's just been cranking away here. So
you have a cigarette.
We'll party with the NyQuil.
Really get after it.
I had to fly in next to the damn coronavirus.
Yeah.
Good thing I drank a bunch of Coronas.
I was going to say you
prepared.
You got your
we landed in
vaccine.
Dallas, and the last flight from China was coming in at the same time as we're going through all through together.
Wow.
I was like, this is great. Hazel, don't touch anything. Like, all right. She didn't drink as much Corona as his dad, so I don't think she's going to be.
Yeah, not
the
nearly
immunity. I had the immunity factor going on. Oh, it's not the beer virus. I see, Jay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we get it. Well, we got to take a break. Got to talk to Rosso. We got a big Iowa game tonight. Talk more with Vasco. There's just all these like weird things to talk about. Like, baseball is weird. I've never been at a time where baseball just you can do 30 minutes talking about these cheaters and then waste 30 minutes talking about rule changes because they're just throwing. They're
always throwing a million
somebody
things
needs to
at
bang
ya.
on a garbage can for us every time they're giving us some type of swerve of a topic to talk about.
Oh, is that how it went?
No, it's not how it went, but we do need to take a break.
All right, pizza lovers, Vans Pizza and More has just opened near the Plex at the corners of Middle and Forest Grove Roads. They have outstanding daily specials on the Vans Pizza you love. Today is Thursday, so today you get $12.99 any large pizza, no half and halves. All you gotta do is call Vans at 563-232-1396, and they'll have that hot and ready for you to carry out. Or if you're in Bettendorf, you can have it delivered. Delivery area is limited, so please ask when you call. That number once again is 563-232-1396. Vans Pizza and More, 5023 Competition Drive in Bettendorf.
From the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studios, this is the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBOB, Davenport.
Sweet strawberry icing. You were strolling along in goodwill when just past that mid-century side table and denim jacket you spotted them, nestled in their display case. Miniature donut earrings. Oh, yes! Yes! Your favorite half-breakfast pastry, half-all-day dessert food, made into your favorite form of ear candy. Oh my. Those bejeweled sprinkles have satisfied some unknown hunger within you. Shh. Do you smell that? That's the sugary scent of shopping success. For this is Goodwill. And with every item you buy, you fund local job training and more. So go forth. Bring home those donut earrings. And bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard show on ESPN Radio.
Roy, who is feeling older every day, and I think this is universal for people in sports, that you sort of can calendar your own age by guys you saw growing up playing when you loved sports, having kids who are now playing sports. But Roy has never felt older than he did during the break when, very sadly, he just said to me, Frank Gore's kid has enrolled at Southern Miss, and it's the first time you can remember an active athlete of any sort having a kid, but it's only because Frank Gore has been in the league 4 yards at a time since 1982.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
Why would you when you still get 4 yards?
Frank Gore Jr. is going to put it on the poll, Antonio. Is Frank Gore Jr. going to retire from football sooner than Frank Gore Sr.?
The Dan Le Batard Show, 9 till noon on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
And now an old classic commercial from Mark Brenny.
Every time my wife and I go to the mall, I end up wandering around while she shops with my credit card. Maybe I'll step into this arcade and check out their new virtual reality game. I think I'll try the virtual reality all-terrain vehicle ride.
Here's your goggles, sir.
Well, here we go. This new technology is kind of cool, but nothing beats hitting the rough terrain on a new or used ATV from Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic. With a real ATV, you can travel through the woods, over hills, in mud, or snow as you feel the wind in your hair. And right now, Brenny's has an incredible selection of ATVs to choose from, just in time for fall and winter riding. Well, that's enough virtual reality for me. I'm ready for the real thing.
Oh, there you are, Mark. Look at all this great stuff I bought.
Maybe they should have virtual reality shopping.
The ATV you're shopping for is at Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic, State Street, Bettendorf, across from the Alcoa Arcade. Almost.
You don't want to miss the Outdoor Show, February 13th through the 16th at the QCCA Expo Center in Rock Island. Troy Lindner, son of legendary angler Al Lindner and team member of Lindner's Angling Edge, will entertain you with his fishing and life stories during daily seminars, along with fellow anglers Tommy Scarless and Jim Crowley. Get fishing tips from some of the best. Huge vendor displays featuring fishing, boating, bait, and tackle. It's all waiting for you at the Outdoor Show. Bring your kids for their own adventure at Kids Camp, Trout Pond, minnow races, and archery. Advanced discount tickets are available in person at K&K Hardware, Kroger's, the Expo Center office, office or at QCCAExpoCenter.com. At the door, adults $8, kids 6 to 16 just $1, and under 6 free. Senior citizens and military get in for $6 all day Friday. There's free parking and shuttle from the Rock Island ramp to the outdoor show. February 13th through the 16th. For schedule of events, more information, or to get tickets, log on to QCCAExpoCenter.com.
From the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studios, this is the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBOB, Davenport.
All right, everybody, we're back here. We got Vasco, we got Rosso, we got everybody in the house.
All the O's.
We got all the OOs.
Dynamic duo.
That's right. My boys.
Off air, we were talking about last night. Bettendorf punched their way, and Northcott punched their way into state duels for wrestling. That'll be on Wednesday. Assumption did it on Tuesday night. The coaches all get together at some point, and they have a meeting, and they decide where to give the seeds. The seeds are out. Yes. So
Am I up here? There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the seeds are out. So Bettendorf got a 4 seed. First round, they have to wrestle number 5 Northcott.
That's what I thought. So what did they wrestle in the did they do a dual meet in this season or not? I can't remember. We didn't cover it if they did.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Obviously, Northcott.
Actually, no,
I don't think so because Northcott obviously won the MAC pretty handily, but I don't remember them unless it was really early on.
I'll look it up.
Or maybe it was when I was doing something else at Iowa, but I
would have been there too.
Bendorf's got Bane on the team, Vasco. I don't know if you saw the highlights last night.
You saw,
I didn't. What?
You mean the
Darian Peterson, right? That's his name?
Damien.
There we go.
Yeah.
He looks like
He's
Bane.
got a face mask on. It looks like Bane. It's scary.
Really?
Yeah. Take no prisoners. I don't even know that's legal.
That's
but he
so
was just
funny because we were quoting Bane earlier.
We were just doing
We were
Bane.
impersonating
Oh,
Bane.
what a lovely, lovely voice.
Seriously, I was like, that's what I said. I go, he's looking like Bane out there.
That's hilarious.
Not gonna lose to that kid.
I don't know what's wrong if he has a nose issue or eye or whatever else. But yeah, we all mentioned it last night. Like, look at that. Yeah, I was out there for that. All right,
It's intimidating.
Is it? It's just to protect their face. All right, I'm gonna take a look at their schedule real quick because I don't know why I wouldn't have known this and why they're not on it, but it doesn't look like they did have a duel against Northcott. So I don't know why Northcott got the 5, they got the 4, but they did.
Well, that's how they were ranked going into it last night, right? I mean, that's kind of must be the dual team rankings on Iowa Wrestling or something that they're defaulting to. So, I mean, flip side, it guarantees a MAC semifinalist, right?
That's true.
Right.
Southeast Polk got the 1. Fort
Waverly
Dodge
Shell
got
Rock,
the 2.
3 probably.
No, Waverly Shell got the 2.
Or 2,
Yeah, Fort
okay.
Dodge got the 3.
Yep.
So, and then in 2A,
Waverly Shell Rock?
yeah, they're really good.
They're always good. Yep.
They're
Them
always
and
there.
Southeast
Yep.
Polk usually are the finalists.
Assumption got the 5 in 2A. They'll have
We used to
Osage.
beat the hell out of them when I was a kid.
If Assumption survives against Osage, which they probably will, Assumption, Toronto's doing a good job, they'll run into West Delaware again. And that is a team all through the 2000 teens. It was always West Delaware and Assumption that were in the finals or in the semi or whatever else, always running each other. I mean, and they do it in football too. So, but for Bettendorf, so they'll be at 11 o'clock on Wednesday. They'll meet each other, Bettendorf and Northcott, and Assumption wrestles at 9 on Wednesday. And I'm planning on going up. So, if you guys need me to
Where's it at, Jay?
carry
The dome?
Wells Fargo.
Carry a
it's in the
tripod.
carry a tripod up there and
There you go.
ship it into you guys all the way back here. I mean,
Did,
I'm sure Beef will be able to do that with
I
me.
can't remember. Did the 2A semis then also on Wednesday and the
Yes,
3A?
everything's on Wednesday.
So, the championships too.
Yes, the duel. It'll go 1A and 2A at 9. 3A will wrestle at 11. Then 1A, 2A consolations will wrestle then, and then all the semifinals will go at the same time, and then 3A consolations, and then then at night at 7 o'clock you'll have all 3 classes finals will go on from there.
I don't think since I've been here we've had a 3A semifinalist as a team, right? I'm pretty sure on that.
What have you been here, 3-4 years?
Yeah, so
there hasn't
Bettendorf and
been.
Northcott, neither of them have won their opening round. So, like I said, I mean that's good. They'll have to match up with Southeast Polk, which is probably not great, but you never know.
Yeah, there'll be some games being played, bumping people around and everything else. But no, I've been waiting all day for that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just had like a set time that all the coaches had to get together on Skype or a conference call or whatnot. But it's in, so that's good. All right, what were we talking about before we went to break, though? I was complaining about more Major League nonsense. I probably. But Rosso, tell me about the Hawkeyes tonight.
Indiana's lost 4 straight.
Mm-hmm.
It's at Assembly Hall. One of those on paper, you think Iowa's probably a better basketball team, but it's kind of do or die for Indiana here. They've lost 4 in a row. They're playing at home. There's not too many chances left. Like, they've slowly been trickling back down to the bubble. They were kind of an 8-9 seed for a couple weeks. Now they're down in 10-11 range. They lost to Purdue at home with the emotional Bobby Knight return on Saturday. So
why was he trying to swing on Vitale, by the way?
He's just a different cat, man. That's
I
all.
mean, I didn't know. Did those two have
they're pals. They're pals. It was joking, but
oh, okay.
Vitale tried to grab him. He didn't want to be grabbed.
It's like, hey, Bobby, come over here, man. Let's go. Let's do it. That's what I'm talking about.
He went to yeah. It looked like it was a really bad old man fighting.
He just didn't look very good.
No,
That's
that nose.
you know. So
the nose looked like he'd been pounding down some whiskey.
It's good that he got back there.
Yeah, if you're in one of those like celebration of life pools, you want Bobby Knight. Checking out. He's gonna be checking her out. What, man? I can't call it when I see it.
I think it was a good thing that it happened. With all that's gone on with his legacy in Indiana basketball, and just for him to return in that fashion, I thought
it was kind of self-imposed, though. That's the only thing that I just. He stayed away himself.
Yeah. Right? No,
20 years. He got butthurt. Basically, he was butthurt by everything.
But I think this represented sort of a burying the hatchet moment. I think for him.
Yeah,
because he knows he's at the end of the ramp.
Yeah,
right?
I think exactly right. Yeah,
right? He knows. I'm telling you, he knows.
But whether or not it's him expressing regret or him being selfish and wanting to, preserve a legacy or something, I don't know. But
let me ask you this:
we don't know what his intentions are.
Bobby Knight is hands down a polarizing figure.
Yeah, there's no question.
Fan or not?
Yeah,
over everything he's ever done.
I'm okay with him. I mean,
I don't know either way. I'm not as polarized by him. I just think he was a jerk. Good basketball coach, but he's a jerk. And nowadays, that doesn't play anymore.
It doesn't play.
I'm sorry, but it doesn't.
People are
receptive to it. My problem is
players are receptive to that stuff.
The hands-on stuff he did, I didn't like at all.
The antics were terrible too.
But being a disciplinarian, is good. I think.
Sure, he's just took it to the extreme. That's the problem.
Exactly.
He had maybe a decent understanding of what can motivate a team and what can win basketball games, but also at the end of his career, he wasn't willing to change and adapt to philosophy.
Yeah, and they were not
winning.
They
weren't winning. So when you double down on yourself and you're too stubborn to move,
but he went from being a disciplinarian
been able to do that.
Krzyzewski is a disciplinarian,
but he's able to adapt and embrace the one and done.
Right.
Bobby Knight wasn't ever going to embrace that. It wasn't ever going to embrace.
I think you look at a guy like Izzo. Was it last year's NCAA tournament where he got on the guy on the court publicly and just steamrolled the player? And after the game, what the player say? No, I was in the wrong. Coach was right. I deserved it.
He said I deserved it. Exactly.
That's the type of disciplinarian coach for this generation. For now, Bobby Knight, 25 years ago, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
50 years
fine.
Yeah.
But when it
50, 40 years ago,
as Vasco said, when it got into the 90s and closer to the turn of the century, he didn't adapt and he stayed stubborn. That's a good point, Dan.
His last really good runs at Indiana were in the early 90s.
Yeah, and I think that's he didn't want to adapt, and the administration got sick of it, and he felt betrayed by the administration. That's fine.
Yeah, but you weren't winning games, and you have to understand that.
And then he I don't know, just. I'm glad he got past it, but that's where I'm at on that. Just a good coach for a different time, and he let his stubbornness and his ego get in the way rather than adapt, like you said.
Not the best person, He's not
like you said, like you just grabbing players, choking, like stuff like that. Like I don't think that's. I don't know.
Well, that's unacceptable, no matter what.
Exactly. I don't think that matter when it is. Yeah.
What your style? Yeah, like. it doesn't matter the time either. Like you would know in 1950 if you're choking a player. All right, this might be a little too.
Even Lou
taking this too
Holtz
far.
grabbing the guy by the face mask. That was what? That was
Woody Hayes.
Woody Hayes tripped the player. Lou Holtz,
Clemson player.
Yeah,
a Clemson player. He didn't.
He knocked a Michigan player down too. But I'm talking about Lou Holtz grabbing a guy by the face mask. That happened early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and that was still looked upon as, Lou, what are you doing?
Yeah, right.
And he was not nearly the legend that Bobby Knight is when it comes to coaching.
Right.
But no,
and you're still dealing with kids.
Yes.
That's the biggest part of it. This is college. This isn't the pros.
Yeah,
these aren't people who are being properly compensated. They're
still growing.
They're still growing. They're still developing themselves as human beings.
I think about how stupid I was between 18 and 25. Good God, I'm lucky to be on this earth. Just saying, Jay.
Yeah. So that's kind of the backstory to that. But Iowa, this would be a nice win, and it would be
a pretty big one
because there are not very many easy games. I think they're all quad one games right now down the stretch here for Iowa.
I was looking at it. They have other than this away game, they have Michigan State away, Minnesota away, and Illinois away.
Yep.
And then at home they have Purdue. Jay, help me out. Purdue,
Ohio State, Penn State.
Ohio State and Penn State. I think they can win all three of those at home. But they have to win of these four final road games. I believe they have to win one or two of them.
They got to get at least one this week. They got to get one of the next two. They have to either beat Minnesota or Indiana. They can't try to expect to go win at Illinois and at Michigan State. Those are two of the top 5 teams in the Big Ten. Like these two teams this week, Indiana, Minnesota, they're fighting for the bubble. They both need a win, but they're both not that great. So I was one at Indiana, in recent history, so they can do it. Just we'll see. They obviously can't have the start they did last week at Purdue, just a debacle there. But it should be. I expect a really close game tonight. We'll see which way it ends up falling. But
they bounced back well against Nebraska, and I think everybody that was an intelligent fan wrote that loss at Purdue off, like rather than my God, this is the end of the world.
Right.
Purdue shot lights out. They scored their average in the first half.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if that game plays out to averages, Iowa wins the game. So, an anomaly.
Just happens.
And Purdue's not. Purdue's been that team all year too. That up and down, playing really good against the good teams. They blew out Michigan State earlier at home that year. So, or this year, I should say. But yeah, I think Iowa's fine. And like you said, they do have to win either this week or at Minnesota.
Yeah. Do you want to do power rankings? Little power rankings?
Yeah.
We want to talk baseball. You tell me.
No. I want to hear power rankings. I love power rankings.
We'll go bottom to top here. The bottom two, Northwestern, Nebraska. I early in that game on Saturday, in my Dayquil-infused state, Nebraska is the slowest basketball team I've seen in person, and maybe not just this year, maybe the last 2 years. Their foot speed was terrible across the board. I mean, I don't know how Iowa lost him the first time. That's going to be the loss, even without Frederick, that you're like, what the hell? Like, why? Because they're competing for that double bye, right? They're going to be right on that line with a couple other teams, the 4, 5, 6 seed. And that loss to Nebraska is going to be possibly the determinant from keeping them out of the top 4 in the Big Ten, which, man, they were bad. So Nebraska, Northwestern, the bottom. Then I have the next two opponents, Indiana and Minnesota at 12 and 11. They're, like I said, both fighting on the bubble, both probably below that next tier of Big Ten teams that, aren't going to contend for the top 4 or 5 spots, but they're obviously not as bad as Nebraska, Northwestern. And then 7 through 10, these are all interchangeable to me. I mean, they've beaten each other in recent weeks. So 10, Wisconsin, 9, Purdue, 8, Michigan, 7, Ohio State. I think Ohio State beat Michigan by 1 last week. Wisconsin just beat Ohio State at home. So they're all really interchangeable. I think we're kind of seeing some separation between the top 6. And 6 will go Rutgers, although Rutgers hasn't won on the road. They're undefeated at home, but they haven't really won on the road. And I think they have maybe 1 or 2 more road games than home games down the stretch. They're kind of the X factor in all this, because if they don't win any on the road, they're not going to obviously move into the top 5. And I think the top 5, unless something crazy happens, I think these are going to be the top 5 teams in the Big Ten tournament. I don't know
what order
exactly, but 5, let's go Illinois, partially because of Desumu's injury. I know there's no structural damage. I wrote down, is he going to be back by March 1st? Because they have 4 pretty winnable games here, I think. I think they have...
That's what I wanted to ask you about.
I think they have Nebraska twice, maybe, or Northwestern and Nebraska, and then they have definitely a winnable 3 of 4 or something without Dosunmu, but then their final 3 or 4 games are just brutal. So they need him back by March 1st. They're a pretty good basketball team. Obviously saw them in person Super Bowl Sunday. They've given a couple games away on the road at Maryland, at Iowa they could have won. So I think Illinois is pretty solid as long as Dosunmu's healthy. 4, I have the Hawkeyes. But I'll say this, to get into the double bye, they have to win one or both of these games this week. If you go 0-2 against Minnesota and Indiana, I don't think they're going to be able to recover, and that means you have to win all your home games.
Well, unless they beat Michigan State,
Exactly.
they beat Illinois and Ohio State. Like, if they could run the house at that point,
But
then maybe.
the likelihood of that with just the gauntlet of the Big Ten is just not.
But
it's
don't
not
you
good.
think the Illinois one now becomes more, with the injuries, more likely to happen? I mean, they've lost 3 straight now, Illinois has.
Yeah, but he'll be back by then. I mean, he's there. If he's coming back at all, he's going to be back by early March. Like,
Okay.
otherwise, just shut it down and go to the draft then. Like, what?
Yeah.
If you're playing for nothing, then just send it in. So I think that's the most interesting thing for me for Iowa. These next 2 games are huge because, Michigan State, Penn State, whoever, and then you got the top 3 in the league. They got to play 2 of them. That gets me to number 3. I have the Spartans at 3 right now. And I'm going to put this on record. I'm guaranteeing they're not the regular season champions. I think they're 2 games back of Maryland right now. Obviously, they haven't shown the consistency needed to what we thought the preseason number 1 in the nation was going to be. They've been too inconsistent. Cassius Winston, I don't know if he's okay with everything that happened earlier this season with his brother dying. You never know, right? They obviously lost the other kid, Langston, whatever his name is, for the season. He was another big piece. Xavier Tillman, the big man's playing better. I just don't think they're as complete as we thought they were at the beginning of the season. I think they're not going to win the regular season title.
Are they still unranked too?
I believe they are. Yep.
They're
not.
They dropped out.
They're not there.
I mean, that's not to say that they won't still be a top 2 or 3 seed. I mean, they easily could be, but I just think they haven't shown the consistency. I think these top 2 teams right now have kind of separated themselves. And number 2, I'm going to go with the Terps.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Maryland, and the only reason I put them at 2, partially because they have 4 of their next 6 on the road. We've seen how hard it is to win on the road in the Big Ten. They're leading the league right now, but even if they win 2 of those, if they go 4-2 in that 6-game stretch, that's still that puts them at, I believe, 5 losses. Like, is 13-5 or 15-5 going to be enough to win the Big Ten? I don't know. And number 1, I got Penn State.
Really?
I mean, you win at the Breslin Center, and then you win at Mackey. And that's the 2 toughest places to play in the Big Ten, right? Purdue and Michigan State.
Yeah.
And they won convincingly at Purdue. And then at home, they win against, or at Michigan State, they win a close one. They've already beat Maryland at home. That game, that to me is the toughest home game for Iowa left, is Penn State. They got guard scoring. They're physical. They're big. With Watkins in the middle, Lamar Stevens has been really good. Penn State, interesting team right now. They haven't made the tournament under their coach. This is his 9th year, Pat Chambers.
Jeez.
Now they might be. I mean, right now they're ranked, I think, 12th, 13th. They could get into the top 10.
They would win the Big Ten tournament?
The Big Ten tournament.
You never know. It's a toss-up, right?
I just think.
But it's one of those top 4.
I think Maryland or Penn State is
5.
going to win the regular season championship, and then we'll see in the tournament.
Right now, Maryland's at 10-3 in the conference. Penn State's 9-4. Michigan State at 9-5. Illinois at 8-5. Iowa at 8-5. So, I'm just trying to look at what the brackets would look like if we did it today.
And the tiebreakers are going to be a mess.
Yeah.
In the Big Ten, because everybody's beating everybody.
Everyone's got to win at home
all over
over someone else.
Yeah, it's even to recklessly speculate is a little nuts, like where it's going to be. But see, if Iowa sticks at the 5, then they would have the winner between. Let's see here.
Does it just go to point totals?
Be the 2 worst teams, right? The winner between the
12 and the
12,
13. Yeah. So, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's coming up fast, though. It's going to be a lot of fun. And
in Indy, haven't been to Banker's Life before, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, and like we said, Iowa's. Yeah, this weekend, these next 2 games coming up are going to be key. Ohio State a week from tonight. Would have been fun with DJ there. That's one I was looking forward to, and that's fine. Hopefully everything's going well with him. And then Penn State at home on February 29th. It's going to be a rowdy one. That's 11 o'clock tip-off.
Yeah, the 11 a.m. Saturday special, right?
Yeah.
That'll be cool. Leap day.
Are you going up for wrestling on Saturday?
What's that? I'm not. No, not going up this weekend. 8:30 start. We've probably talked off air, but that's 8 o'clock start. You can manage because you're at least going to get the first 5 bouts on the air for 9 and 10. 8:30. I mean, you're not done with the first 5 till 9:45. Like you're crunching. You're going to hit. That's it. And I know it's for TV. I'm interested. I'm going to go up next Friday. Kevin Warren, the new Big Ten commissioner, is going to meet with the media over in Iowa City. I'm formerly one of the executives with the Vikings. His son played at Minnetonka High School, so I covered him a little bit. So I'm familiar with Kevin, emailed him a couple times. I'm interested to see how they're going to navigate this going forward, the balance between TV slots for all sports and declining attendance at the revenue sports. Because, last year, and now that Fox has the Big Ten package, we saw a lot more 11 a.m. games and big 11 a.m. games than we had in the past because they were pumping that big noon on Fox. Are we going to see that more for basketball? Are we going to see more 11 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, or the 2:30 on Saturday and Sunday for basketball like we used to? The CBS games, the Fox games. Remember, it was always, oh, man, I remember Minnesota and Michigan on CBS on Sunday leading into the news or something like that. You always used to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have SEC and they have the American Athletic Conference. Like, I don't know if it's part of the TV deal with Fox that CBS got less games, but I just think they've sold out every Saturday home game Iowa has, every weekend home game, I believe, Saturday and Sunday, but there's only been 2 or 3 of them. If you're playing at 8 o'clock on a Thursday or 6 o'clock on a Tuesday, like, it's tough for people to get to. And it's not convenient if it's a weekday night game. Like the Friday night games, all right, fine, you can get there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not friendly to in arena attendance. And does the cash from the TV deal just not matter? There's all this stuff working, and I kind of want to know how he's going to navigate that, because obviously the Big Ten revenue is, them and the SEC trump everybody else in the country. It's not even close, but that has maybe caused some attendance to drop at depending on the timing and the opponents and everybody else. So I don't know, it'll be interesting.
You touched upon this before we did the Iowa thing, talked about Iowa, but yeah, the MLB, the up and down rules changes, and then you've got, I haven't even sat through the entire press conference that they did today. I know if you have I did listen to Bregman. It was very cookie cutter and PR friendly, and we did wrong type of thing. But I think what we talked about yesterday, how they just threw Beltran under the bus in the worst way possible. And they're saying that he walked into the clubhouse and said, you guys are behind the times on how to steal signs. Like that, what Cora did to Beltran, now Beltran, this thing that came out of the Athletic, that's opening up the doors to, like, what did he do with the Mets? What did he do with the Yankees? Where did he learn this from, these practices? Yep. And I don't think this is the end of it at all.
No, it's not. It's not even close.
And we talked about the clubhouse atmosphere. Like, why don't you just stand up and say anything? Max Stassi, the Angels catcher who played for Houston in 2017, 2019, he said he was called up in August 2017. He saw what was going on. He went on to say, when you're a lower man on the totem pole, you just show up, you go out there and play. He said he apologized all around the games, but the people are definitely affected by it, the fans, the coaches, etc. And he said, especially the kids who look up to us, he apologized. We're supposed to set an example and do the right thing. We didn't do that. Now, Andrew Haney, pitcher of the Angels, said somebody in the locker room had to say something like, this is effed up. We shouldn't be doing this. For nobody to stand up and say we're cheating other players, that sucks. That's a crappy feeling, only he didn't say crappy. And he said, I hope they feel like crap, only he didn't say crap. That's what we were talking about yesterday. Like, these guys are still professionals. They put now their legacies on the line, but they're going to sit there and say that Carlos Beltran just came in and just like bullied them and said, like, you guys know we're doing it this way. I mean, Brian McCann of all people,
I don't buy that.
Brian McCann said
that would have been the first thing that came out. Then, you know, they would have said that from the get-go.
Yeah,
So I feel like, what is it like?
Wouldn't Mike Fiers right away when he tells the whole thing be like, well, here's what happened. They were banging the gun, and really it was just one dude, and everyone just allowed him to just take over. He was a cancer in the clubhouse,
This is like
and we
poor
allowed
crisis
it to
management at
it
this
is,
point.
And the Astros have been at
It's like yes, to like that times 100.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly what you said. Like unreal.
But the Astros have not been very good about crisis management through this entire thing.
But it's not just the Astros. No. It now is the
MLB. It's the other
peeled. The MLB just dropped the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back, and I said this yesterday, you guys, if this is the closest thing we have to the Black Sox scandal of 1919, because it involved the World Series, there's examples of it happening in the World Series.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, should they have their title stripped?
That's what we've been talking about. I disagreed with Serge that they should have their title stripped. The more I think about it, the more I'm leaning towards it.
Me too.
The more
at first I wasn't for it
when
either.
I saw that video of the World Series with the whistling, it's just it's wild to watch, and you're just sitting there like, wow.
Our guy in the Twins, Marwin Gonzalez.
He gave about the best.
But then the
apology that I've seen so far.
He said for everything that we did as a group and for the players that were affected directly by us doing this, this is why I feel more regret, and that's why I'm remorseful or whatever. Yeah, he owned up to it. But, then you have like Gary Sanchez like talking about Jose Altuve saying, don't grab my thing. He's like, they could rip my pants off if I hit a home run.
Here's the deal with baseball. It's always been part of the game to try to bend the rules.
Right, and that's what we talked about this too.
So I think it's...
But it's funny because the traditionalists who want to protect the integrity of the sport, you're not hearing from as much about this stuff.
It's preposterous to think that they should drop the title. Like, no way. No way.
I'm with you.
The 1987 Twins ALCS Championship celebration. What did Joe Niekro pull out? He pulled out an emery board. He was scuffing the baseball. He got suspended that season. Everybody's cheering. He's cheating. Yeah. It's always been a part of baseball. So
but the problem is there are major differences between an entire team colluding for something versus one player, Pete Rose, betting.
One guy.
All these one individual spoiling it for the rest
emails
versus all the individuals spoiling it for themselves. Because at first I was like, they shouldn't strip the title because it hurts the players. But now that the more stories you're reading about, the more you're hearing about, there wasn't a single player in that locker room that didn't know what was going on, and none of them said anything. And so for that to be the case, they are all responsible in one way or another, whether it be by association or by directly helping with the sign stealing. Regardless, it was an entire effort on all of their parts. That's what makes it such a big scandal in my mind.
It's just, I guess we all played baseball at some point level in our lives, and these guys are at the level of when it's a fastball coming, it makes one hell of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure, absolutely. These guys know where to hit any single spot.
Yeah.
Across the plate. So if they know where something's coming, when it's coming, they'll hit that spot 95% of the time.
My two things are, if you left that team, but you won, you're never going to say anything.
Exactly.
If you won, do you think Justin Verlander didn't want a World Series title that year? Like, he wasn't going to say anything. He gets traded mid-year. He's not going to come and say, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know I want to win a title, but geez, you can't do this. No, like that's not the way.
But that's
it
what
works.
being a
These
leader
guys are
is,
winning.
though.
No, nobody's going to do that. Dan.
Well, it doesn't matter if they're not going to do it, but you can still call them out for not doing it.
Somebody,
whether or not it's not how it happens.
Now,
after they left, though,
I know.
Not while they were doing it.
Right? Yeah.
You're not going to do it if you're winning. Just like if the Patriots were taping the practices in 01, nobody's going to do it.
That's the point.
Nobody's going to call it out
what's
happening.
Quick phone call. You ready, T-Ray?
Yep.
All right.
You're on Don't Hassle Us Local. Who do we have?
My name is Gary.
Hey, Gary. What do you got?
Gary.
Hey, I was just, you guys are talking about the cheating that's always been going on. I just kind of want to throw out there that, to me anyway, the fundamental difference is when you put the camera out there, it's one thing to be stealing signs from each other where you're on the same level of playing field. When you put the camera on there, you have a fundamental advantage over your opponent who doesn't have that. So I just think that's important to the equation, that I mean, you're setting up a system. Cheating's cheating. It's always been there. That's fine because, you steal a sign, you throw the pitch at a guy, everyone gets mad, we have a fight, that's fine. But it's on an even playing field. It's not with the camera. That's just my thought.
Yeah,
it's
another level
Thanks, Gary,
of
for the
cheating.
call,
Thanks
man.
for the call,
Appreciate it.
Gary. Appreciate it. Keep
And
listening,
what he's
man.
alluding to
Appreciate
is the use of technology.
Yeah.
Which this is. I mean, this is it. This is the big thing. I mean,
Right.
yeah,
Which
Emery
goes to
board,
show the level of
Emery
effort.
board, snot, Vagisil.
Of course, if the umpire's watching the close, put a little jalapeno in the
Yeah,
nose.
there you go.
Put snot in
Yeah.
the ball.
But I mean, those are the jokes of baseball. The little things, the little cheating things. Yeah, you got a guy at second who's stealing signs, trying to steal signs.
Yeah.
I guess those are the acceptable forms of cheating.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's been
Right.
baseball. And to allude what you were
Because
saying
it's
earlier,
all being done on
What
on
you
the
just
field.
said, on a
Everything
level
is
playing
happening
field.
within the grounds of the game itself.
like if you're playing football, all right, and I've heard Brady say Omaha 3 times, but I've picked up on, all right, when he says Omaha,
It's this protection
something,
or whatever.
I know he's going to this, and I'm
Yeah.
if you're getting that just because you're smart and you understand what's going on, good for you. That's fine.
Do you
And
think
the
it was
same-
inevitable? Like he was just saying, with all the technology, with all the
that something was gonna
cameras and
happen like
everything,
this?
do you think it was inevitable?
It was
Absolutely.
everything. I mean,
Absolutely, you're right. It
'cause
was
the Apple Watches, Buzz, like
yeah.
What kind of shocked me is that that it's the Astros, because that was a team that could have won the World Series without sign stealing.
Yeah,
they have a great squad, and I'm like,
Wow.
man, of all the teams, you would think,
Apparently, Carlos Beltran came in and said, "Everything you guys did, that's nice. It's cute, but let me tell you something. You guys are behind the times, and here's how you're going to make it to the next
So
level."
to me, it's on Hinch, though, isn't it? Like we've read the reports and said, "Oh, he smashed some TVs. He was unhappy with it," but it never stopped.
But you didn't stop. Yeah,
it never
exactly.
stopped.
Exactly. You have to.
And I don't know.
smashed TVs.
The manager, Hinch, he said, "You guys need to knock
because
this
he was
off."
mad when he
smashed the
found
monitors.
out.
He
He
was
didn't know
pissed.
about it
Yeah.
at first.
A few.
But once
two
he
or three
knew
here
about
and
it, it
there.
didn't.
After
He
that, they're
got
like,
angry, but
And I don't know if it was it the Will Kane show? Some talk radio show was saying, like, you don't have to throw your players on the bus. You go to the GM or you go to the owner and say, "Hey, here's what's going on. We got to put a stop to this. Like, this could jeopardize everything." He didn't do that. You know why? Because they were winning. Because it worked.
and they
You're not
probably-
gonna. Nobody's gonna stop. You
No,
are
because-
paid to
yeah,
win.
right,
You are
right.
paid to win. You're paid to win baseball
Hey,
games.
but it's
thought
about
anybody
doing the
was
right
gonna
thing when
tell
it's
him.
the hardest thing to do, and that it makes it the hardest thing to do when you're winning. The hardest thing to do is then to go back and tarnish all your accomplishments.
Well, it's like this.
That's what makes it hard.
It's not that they're sorry that they did it.
They're not. They're sorry they got
so-
caught.
yes.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And they, why they didn't stop it? Because they didn't think they'd get caught. Because they didn't think they had a rat.
Exactly.
In the house.
Yeah.
His fear's a rat.
Yes.
Well, and the most interesting thing to me is the Red Sox still hasn't been. I mean, they haven't even come out with the findings on the Red Sox yet.
Well, it's coming.
So you're looking at the last 3 champions tarnished. Guaranteed that one's going to be the same thing. Tarnished.
And you heard the rumor too that someone had given the Washington.
I told them, right?
They'd let him know.
Yeah.
So they did something to.
Well, and here's the deal. Strasburg said in Game 7, or was it Scherzer in Game 6? One of the two said, "Hey, they told me after the first 2 innings that the way I was holding my glove, Houston was tipping it off or whatever, so I just changed it up." Remember that? Remember that post-game interview?
Yeah,
I can't remember which pitcher it was with. That I guarantee you that was using video in game. They watched everything and said, "Oh, he threw a curveball every time his pinky stuck out of his his glove hand or something like that." And they were relaying that. It's a similar thing. It's basically just using the video and just reviewing it every time. So no, every time I did this, we're doing that. And there again, like, is that cheating? Because I think a lot of people would say it's not.
No, because it's scouting. But it becomes
But
cheating
it's using
when you're
technology.
doing it live.
It's using technology in the game to do it.
correct.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, we
It's
got to
when you're
wrap
doing
this
it
up,
live in the
guys. We got to wrap this up.
Oh no.
Yeah, Vasco, thank you so much for
I
coming
want
in.
another hour,
Rosso,
Jay.
well, we don't get one. Rosso, thank you so much for
What
coming in.
if
We
I
appreciate
just-
it.
What if I stand at the door? And
We'll
don't let
see you
anybody in?
guys tomorrow. Take care, Hasslers. Vasco, we're going to get you in tomorrow because we got to give you a proper send-off if that's cool with you.
Okay, sounds
Yeah,
good.
I'll be
You guys
gone
have a
tomorrow.
great- yeah.
Love pizza chicken grease,
Alger
Quad
with
Cities.
St. Ambrose University, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
Are you gun curious? At Davenport Guns, we offer training for everyone from beginners to experts. Do you prefer private lessons?